think I know what this is. You see, Stan, as you get older, things that you used to like start looking and sounding like shit. And things that seemed shitty as a child don't seem as shitty. With you, somehow the wires have gotten crossed and everything looks and sounds like shit to you. It's a condition called being a cynical asshole.
Oh no.
Yes. And there's no known cure, I'm afraid. Everything just seems shitty and everyone starts to seem shitty and everything they say just starts...
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, Mr. Sherman, everything stinks.
It's all part of a new program we like to call Deep Hurting. Deep Hurting.
Son of...
Let's see how you like a little Miak.
Miak?
Yeah, Miak.
Damn, man! Don't be sneaking up on a brother with your crackhead skin disease test tube baby looking ass! Damn near shit my pants! I don't sell no soap, so what the hell you want?
Can you fly, you sucker? Can you fly?
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. And Jack left town.
I just found out Count Dracula was a...
Oh. Is that so?
You don't have to believe me, but that's the facts.
You know, suddenly I miss my dad.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sith, episode 125. 125. What do you know? We are just keep on climbing that ladder. Here we are. I'm your host, the Fractured Filter, and with me here is, as always, tonight, Jay Hitman. How are you, sir?
Dude, climbing the ranks, 125. So much to talk about. I think we got a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. Some stuff that's going to be more in depth than others, I think.
Yes, we got the plan to kind of go over some old territory that we haven't for some time.
Old or new? That is the question.
I mean, there's mostly some, like it is. We haven't kept quite the same eye as we were initially, but yeah, things have been kind of cropping up here and there. Some interesting stuff. So yeah, but otherwise, what have you been up to this week? Anything fun? Anything exciting?
No, nothing. Not just watching my team get beat.
Are you doing that fantasy football too?
No, I hate professional football. It's college football. So just getting their cheeks clapped today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just Static and that crew. They've been doing their whole fantasy football league and going in.
Chiefs are going to win this year, so I'm ruining everybody's bracket. Everybody's fantasy football. Chiefs are going to win. They've already decided Chiefs will win again this year, so calling it.
Is that right? It's been decided.
Rigged. Yeah, dude, it's rigged. It's 100% rigged. Chiefs will win.
Predetermined, as it were, as they say for wrestling.
Absolutely.
Predetermined.
Absolutely.
Well, damn. What's the fun in that?
No, dude, professional football it's boring, man. College football is where it's at. At least they haven't rigged it, to my knowledge. I think it's really hard to rig college football. I don't think you can.
I mean, anything. I'd almost say anything could probably be rigged.
Yeah,
never rule out the powers to be.
This is true, but
I hate to. I don't mean to bring it down. I'm just,
I think it'd be really hard for college. But again, do not forget. I mean, this isn't necessarily rigging, but there are some unethical things that happen in college football. Don't let least us forget Pete Carroll and Reggie Bush. Not Reggie Wayne, Reggie Bush.
Oh, you know better than I don't know anything about
At your old stomping grounds, USC.
The old footy ball.
South Carolina, University of South Carolina.
No.
It's called booty ball.
Footy ball.
Footy ball. Oh yeah.
There's another term I use, but it's not appropriate for the YouTubes or anything.
It's a kid show.
Kid show, absolutely. So we've got really quick here. We got Nerdy Neo being the first popping in. Hello, sir. Saying, what is your team that is getting beat, Hitman?
Oklahoma. University of Oklahoma. Getting beat by the Texas Longhorns.
Oh, darn.
It's
funny. I had a boss at one of my previous jobs that was, football. The college ball was Oklahoma as well.
Mm-hmm.
And hello, Crimson Raptor. How's it going? Saying hello there to all the trans clones. Yeah, that's been recirculating again.
What is going on with this? I saw I'm on OU Cake. OG Star Wars post something about it.
Yeah, I mean the funny thing is that was like 2021 that was brought up. I don't think we covered it, but
no.
But I mean, yeah, that
is it still pre-2012, so is it still canon?
No, 2021.
Oh, 2021. Yeah, we didn't bring that up.
2012.
No, I said when this book came out in 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not canon. It's not part of EU, is it?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, this is Disney's bullshit.
Oh, well, OG posted something that it was in canon. Maybe I'm misquoting the quote. I saw a post about.
You'd have to get that for me because otherwise I'm not too sure.
No.
And hello, Melissa Lord.
I saw it was some like clones earlier this week, but I'll have to find it now.
Yeah, like I said, I've been hearing. I saw all that stuff popping up again, and I just kind of rolled my eyes when I saw it. I'm like, okay, we're doing this again. I see. But yeah,
why must everything be boring and sad?
I
don't want to hear anything that came out after 2012. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about it. Really don't. You can say it's canon. It's not canon. In my opinion. Or is that not a fair assessment?
Say that again.
Anything that came after Lucas sold, is it not canon?
I mean, right now at this point in time, it's up in the air for whatever anybody wants to consider canon at this point. But yeah, so do we want to go into this topic really quick then?
Which one?
The Troon clone.
Sure.
Okay. Let me also get the other post that I saw because it was rather hilarious that they tried to claim it was breaking.
Or should we do the deep dive first because that's going to take more time?
I mean, maybe we'll just knock this out really quick because I think this will just be a really quick kind of blurb. Where did I see the comment claiming breaking? Because I mean, it's just, yeah, here we go. Okay. All right. So yeah, it was, I believe, started here. We got the reminder of this nonsense from Star Wars, that Star Wars Holocron account on X saying Secrets of the Clone Troopers includes a first look at Sister, a trans woman clone trooper. Rex's description of Sister in the book reads, quote, when one of our kind expressed her gender identity differently than her fellow troopers, she featured she'd have to hide who she truly was inside. Fortunately, her brothers in the 7th Sky Corp gave her the name Sister as a constant reminder that she belonged. The automatic ridiculousness of this whole concept and idea is just completely tits on head retarded. I don't like, for one, like the Kaminoans wouldn't have gone through the DNA and, you know, done psyche valves and everything like that. Like they would have the Kaminoans would have basically scrapped any, you know, dysfunctional clone like this and basically, you know, Spartan style thrown it into the pile of of the dead. Excuse me. They would not have kept something like this around at all, and certainly not allowed it to be in the general populace and on the battlefield fighting. And yeah, part of OG Star Wars's comment was saying there are gay Mandalorians in original lore created by Karen Travis, very organic to story, well written. My questions are, why is this too on the nose? How would an in-universe character know the trans colors from our reality? Mine goes for, I go further with like, how would the Kaminoans allow, just like it is, allow something like this, allow this to go through, considering how efficient they were with generally efficient with cloning, especially to a point. It's absolutely ridiculous, absolutely stupid. So yeah, somebody else had the same thoughts as I did. The Kaminoan cloners would have seen this clone as a defect and it would have never made it off planet. I really wish people would be better. OG Star Wars confirms, yes, they would, unless revealed after, as there were some. Okay, so now that's, okay, so even the, yeah, even you can even see some of the original lore had this inserts of as she's saying, as some were gay clones in the original lore that Cal S took in and helped them defect. So yes, there were some of the old paws in original lore too, and you could try and scream organic storytelling, yada yada yada, but it's still the cultural subversion tactics. And then what was also particularly funny was Libs of TikTok saying, breaking, Star Wars unveils first transgender clone named Sister, and basically, copy pasted what was already said, but this was again like a 2021 book, not exactly a breaking topic, not breaking news, not anything of the sort. Nice. You tried, maybe stick to just doing the whole copying and pasting goofy, spastic, whacked out liberals off of TikTok and stick with some of that. Not exactly your field. Hitman, you got anything you want to add to any of this?
Excuse me. So within canon, there were gay Mandalorians, but we've turned them into transgender clones. Is that what I'm gathering?
We certainly have one transgender clone, yes, in current Disney Star Wars.
And it's just, and like to I think OG's point, is just ironic that they know the color.
Yeah, the real universe, our reality colors for for all that.
Again, I think we've talked about it. It's just, in my opinion, them using Star Wars to push their ideology and their agenda. Why? It's just very ironic that, like, again, you it's almost like you use the facts like, well, see, there was a gay Mandalorian, there were gay Mandalorians within canon, which in my mind, proves that they know canon, they know the EU, they robbed Peter to pay. But it's not even robbing Peter to pay Paul. The point is just you can't come up with anything, so you just continue to take what's already been established. But that's neither here nor there. The point I'm trying to make is, like, you literally you use a concept or whatever to further. You're like, well, they did it. How do I want to say this? It's like, okay, well, there was already gay Mandalorians in Star Wars, so why can't there be transgender clones within canon or whatnot? But you bring up a good point. What point would it? Why would the Kaminoans do that? Yeah, to what end? Like why? Like
because they would be seen as a liability and everything. It's bad enough they have Omega, but now it's okay, so you're gonna have a clone out there that's claiming to be female. So,
but she's a clone of, and that's a whole nother. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's a whole nother issue, right? Yeah, that you can't even. You haven't even been able to rectify. You say that she's a clone of Jango, a direct clone of Jango, but she's female, right? But it's been established that Jango Fett and Boba Fett were what? Males, right?
Yes,
unless they're really ugly females with deep voices and male body parts, right? So I don't get it. Like it's and then it's.
So are they trying to say that there's a part of Jango Fett that wants to be a woman? I mean, what? Well, no, what are they trying to do to an established character?
Well, this is what irritates me, man. It's like, so again, you use like, well, so there's gay Mandalorians, so like why can't there be transgender Mandalorians? But furthermore, you just ironically choose the two colors that represent the trans flag and you put it on their chest. Like it doesn't. This is just them using Star Wars to push their agenda. There's no reason for it. Why? Well, because we're all about inclusion and we're just worried about inclusion and the trans. They can be clones too. Nothing says that transgender people can't be clones. It's just. To what end? To what end? I guess and what's the point? Like, I just don't get it. And it's just. But somebody can make the argument, like, well, Jay Hitman, like you're out here saying you're okay. Like they're gonna call us hypocrites. You know why they're gonna call us hypocrites? Because they're gonna sit here and say, so you guys are 100% okay with canon, to which we'll say yes, the EU, and they're like, well. There's gay Mandalorians within canon, so you don't have a problem with that, but you have a problem with.
Still have a problem with elements.
Well, I do too, right? I absolutely do too. But I'm saying I can see where somebody could call us a hypocrite because it's like you're okay with that, but you're not okay with this, and like you just said to my point, like no, I'm not okay with it. This is an example of. Yeah, I don't know.
No, it was just more pushing of the ideological line. Star Wars Holocron, like it was, they were bringing this subject back up. It sparked for a moment. Yeah, it's just it just goes to show us how much garbage there is in Disney Star Wars, and why it's further not worth paying attention to. At this point, we do just need to just let it all burn and go away.
Right.
At least that's
what are your thoughts? Like, so clearly you're not okay with it, but
no, I find it absolutely ridiculous. It continues to break lore, break canon, and like I said, does this mean that there's a part of Jango Fett that wants to be a woman or something? Is that what they're trying to imply with this? I mean, there's always something else extra added to this bullshit they shovel in here. You can, yes. I mean, one way or another is them trying to put, normalize this idea that a male can be a female or a female can be a male. Not true, but they're trying to normalize that idea and get everybody on that mind of basically to what they pushed for homosexuality of, live and let live, let them be, all that sort of stuff. But really, it's just that attack on society, attack on culture.
Well, you bring up another interesting one. It's like, are they trying to make Jango a female? And it's like, well, they started this. They started this with Omega.
Right.
I mean, they really did. It gave the you know, within. I mean, this was the, if you how do I say it? This is what the fire that lit the flame, if you will.
Right.
Because again, they had to start somewhere with it, and so I don't know. I think this was the starting point of it, and we're gonna see. I think we'll see more shenanigans with it.
Oh, they've already been pushing different things.
And you know, we should have seen it, man. Like when we were reviewing Bad Batch, we should have seen, like, that should have raised questions. You know, Omega and everything. They should have been like, we should have seen then what we see now, right? But we didn't.
You can only look so far into the future and know what's going to happen.
For sure.
Sometimes they pivot, they go in a different direction. It's been crazy. So,
I mean, what do you think will?
I mean, they're in a very goofy spot right now. They need their Mandalorian movie or whatever to pop off. They need it to go big, because otherwise, then it's also Skeleton Crew they need to do well, which I think is supposed to be releasing soon, but it hasn't been getting a whole lot of like PR or anything,
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
No, because the trailer was absolutely terrible. How are you going to come back from that?
Let's see. I thought they had a release date. I'm just seeing. Oh, December 3rd, 2024. That's right. Is when they'll start with 2-episode release. So, yeah, they're in a tight spot with all this, and they definitely need some kind of win. But I don't know what that's going to be, and I don't think this is going to help their case any right now. There's not a whole lot of love going around for the transgender community, especially right now. People are getting really fed up with a lot of this at the moment.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really going to show just how tolerant people have been for a very long time, and they just had to keep poking the bear, and I think they're going to be running out of line soon. So, but this is just more of more of Disney's cultural subversive garbage, and we'll dump it down the chute. So I figured,
well,
hey,
I mean, what's next though with it?
I mean, this is kind of. Because, I mean, they've already done, I know there's the Dr. Aphra, and I believe she's a lesbian. They've had basically interspecies relationships. So they've had like a human with a Trandoshan, stuff like that. Getting very weird in the comics. So,
Yeah.
And while maybe there's been some of that too in the EU, I mean, Twi'leks, I think, are fine. You get a little weird when you bring in the Scalies, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, all they could. I fear the day of when they go further, of when just like in reality, they are pushing for kids, and I fear that coming for Star Wars, whether they try to normalize that sort of relationship through their stories and that. Oh God, hopefully Skeleton Crew isn't going to be that.
Probably will, because they had to do with all children.
Yep, either teens or preteens.
So
that was a deep dark path a little bit at the end here. If you want some extra, After this, go to Static 2020's channel over on Rumble, where we did talk about the old Pizza Gate dark rabbit hole. So yeah. But yeah, that like I said, it can only go down more downhill from here. It's no longer just the slippery slope.
Here's the thing:
we're careening down the water sled at this point.
Yeah, they've by this move, they have proven that their depravity knows no bounds.
Absolutely,
and that they're okay with doing it, and that should be the disturbing part, So
I agree.
They're going after your kids.
It's only going to ramp.
And again, I don't know.
It might de-escalate. I don't know.
No, but I don't know what's gonna stop it. If anything, the what do you call the
I think
the waves are in motion. Things are in motion.
Yeah, I think like it is for part of it. It will be determined by the election and see what happens there, and then we might get an idea.
Yeah, I mean that's funny you bring up the election, but things are in motion, and it's going to take. I don't know what it takes. The cogs turning. The machine is powerful. I don't know what stops it. I don't know if you can. This is very Palpatine-esque. This has been a slow burn indoctrination for years.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jedi are weak. And they're this might be a really bad reference, but it's like the Jedi are asleep, we're asleep, and we think everything's fine and we don't see it, right? So it's just my 2 cents on it. So
the dark has certainly cast a great shadow.
Yeah.
So.
And we don't have a Yoda,
unfortunately.
So, well, this dark. Thank you so much.
Here, I thought we were just going to kind of breeze over it, just talk about that really quick, get it out of the way.
And here you are, just
we're black pilling in just a little bit here. Sorry, folks.
And it gets worse with what's about to be brought up next. So this might be a really depressing show, folks.
Well, hopefully we'll have some fun with it. Let me get to the chat again really quick. Melissa Lord said okay. And welcome to a real conference. Hell yeah. Crimson Raptor said, is it like some consolation prize for Acolyte fans? I mean, now I guess bringing it back up, it is. Yeah, it's like, hey, guess what? You guys had this. Nerdy Neo says, nothing Disney has done is canon. I agree. Crimson Raptor said, amazing how all of our real world social political issues exist in a fiction world set a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Can we just go back to when it was just that? It was just that world far, far away. It was fun. It was fun. Okay. While it lasted. Yep. Hey, we still have those stories. We still have those video games to play. That's what counts. And you can always, excuse me. You can replay them as much as you want. Okay. So now here's where the fun begins. Once upon a time ago, not once upon a time ago, but we certainly jumped on this just as quick as we could. And again, it was a big thanks to the Melee Games. James and Kay, they're the first ones that started bringing this up. And from what I could catch in the circles, and I believe it did go back. Like, I think even prior to them, Synthetic Man had been talking about this kind of group too. But certainly what got us a name, at least for me, was through them. And that is our old pals, Sweet Baby Inc. And you may be kind of wondering what's going on, because I am using an archive link. There's going to be a reason for that. And there not going to be. There is a reason for that, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But yeah, so like it is, their whole thing, their projects. We love making games, no matter the size or scope, and we're always excited to help you tell the best stories. They've had their featured projects, their announced projects, and some of these are maybe old. Their client list, which this is an old client list, or this was updated. You might notice there is a company no longer on there, and that was Square Enix. They were removed from the client list. I do have, I believe here, yeah, some of the originals here. Oh, wait, here we go. Yeah. I love saving this stuff. Remember to always remember, folks, archive, screenshot, do the whole 9 yards. Always have that backup. But here is one of the original screens with some of the groups. Like I said, I was kind of curious to see now who's kind of missing from this as I'm looking between the two. Let's see here. Santa Monica, 2K, Ubisoft. So yeah, the Square Enix is missing off of there. Now Square Enix is gone. And who else are we potentially missing here? Because I feel like that's lost two of them. Remedy's still part of it. Naughty Remedy. Oh, God. Traveler's still there. Raw Fury, Glitch. Avalanche is still on there. Wizards of the Coast. Oh, whatever. Wait, LKO software. So that one is also gone. Whatever the LKO software was is not on the new list. Oh, you can't see it. Crap. So yeah, so there was an LKO Studios on the list from the old screenshot. That is no longer there, which is interesting. Two companies that have dropped. Square Enix and LKO Studios. So I'm not sure. Oh no, it was EK. Oh, my bad. I thought it was L. Part of it was cut off in the screenshot. So I'm still trying to figure out what the hell the other one was. I got to know. I should have looked at this before. I'm sorry, everyone. But anyways, moving on. They've close that. They've shown off their approach to everything. We begin with an all hands review discussion of project material. Everyone at Sweet Baby sees your project and shares their thoughts, feelings, and ideas. We do this because it kicks the project off with a multitude of perspectives, beginning conversation, blah, blah, blah. Their services are writing, narrative, representation, and development. They help with the whole kit and caboodle. We bring in diverse voices to solve diverse problems. Sweet Baby Inc. provides narrative consultation at any stage, development, boasting a team of diverse. So that, this has also been kind of the thing too, is that these people could just be brought in at any time, like they say here even, and it could just be for just a mere of like, oh, hey, tell us this. And then that could be it. And then they kind of piss off, and then the company can say, "Hey, we brought on this company. Give us our government bennies."
For sure.
But hard to know, everything for sure. Howdy, forking around. How you doing, sir? But yeah, so they say provide for writing, narrative, all this sort of stuff. Then they have, of course, their outreach. I'm just kind of skimming these stuff really quick because, like I said, this is very funny that I have to go through their site with archive, and I'm kind of having to skip around because here's the big kick of all this is that at some point they dropped I guess it shut down their site completely. I had seen this post by JT or Smash JT on X, who had said they removed the evidence. Projects page gone, client list gone, SweetbabyInc website goes into lockdown. And I even did. I jumped in and I was like, "Hey, archive links still work for the old version, at least at the time of posting these." And I had the screenshots to accompany that, just to be like, "Hey, you can still see certain things." But yeah, so they have now completely. Sweet Baby has redesigned, as you see here now. You aren't seeing quite as much up top here, but remember when we were looking at this site a lot, not a lot, but we checked back up on them, and they hadn't updated anything, not even with Spider-Man and stuff like that. Spider-Man 2, I should say, I should be specific, Spider-Man 2, that they had their hand in, and it had won awards, as I recall. And I was like, wow, shocking. They didn't have that at all. But here we go. SweetbabyInc is an award-winning, now, yeah, they're showing off more, a team of writers and narrative designers who help make stories better with over 30 games shipped from AAA. Indie. See, this is why I don't trust indie. And I know there are people that are like, oh, indie games. Yes, you can find your gems out there, but I'd say they are a bigger shitfest than the likes of AAA. They are much, because at least AAA, for sure, exactly what they're generally about. Sometimes with the indie devs, they play coy. They won't always be as blunt and everything like that. They try and rope you in and everything like that. So you have to be a little more cautious with them. And I'm sorry, but the indie scene is where you got people like Brianna Wu, Zoe Quinn, and them. A lot of the social justice parasites, where they started was in the indie scene. So I know there are some people that put a lot of trust behind the indie game developers and stuff like that, and there have been some winners here and there, but I'm sorry, I'm just not going to be one of them until it really gets cleaned up, and it really needs it. So, so they're saying indie and solo developers, we are not just contractors. We are storytellers who can take your project to the next level. Oh yeah, take it to the next level in the garbage bin. So yeah, they say script writing, we work within scope to cover all your script writing needs, from cinematics and dialogue to naming 500 pieces of armor. We know every word counts. And here and now they do show off Spider-Man 2 a little bit more. Consultation. No matter the stage of production, we can strengthen your story pitches, world building, and character development needs, and other narrative design demands. They're Alan Wake 2, of course. Authenticity and sensitivity. We approach sensitivity by working with your existing narrative and documentation to bring out It's natural authenticity and emotional resonance. We don't look for red flags. We highlight green ones. And now they do have some of their featured projects here. Of course, God of War Ragnarok. Even the Crew Motorfest, which they worked on proofreading and additional writing. We all know about the Suicide Squad debacle. That was hilarious. But funny, they aren't. I mean, this is it for what they provide for featured projects. It seemed like they might have shown a little bit more. Yeah, they showed a little bit more, at least on their old projects page here, which has the updated Spider-Man 2, the South of Midnight, capes, and whatnot. And you'd think they would be showing that also as a big collection on the new website, but they've certainly scaled everything down. They do their little contact us. Interested in working with us? Good Lord, no. And everything here. Now the question also becomes: is their X account still locked? I gots to know. So, what do you think so far, Hitman? What do you got? You got anything to say so far, sir?
I just really need Sweet Baby Inc. to just go away in its entirety. And I don't understand why. We've talked about this, right? We've talked about how, like, at what point when is enough enough?
Right.
And what's it going to take?
Yep, they're still their posts are still protected.
Right. And why?
I mean, that's the big thing, right? It's like, if you're so proud of yourselves, you're so proud of your work, why do you feel you have to protect yourself?
Right. I mean, I guess I just don't get it, man. I'm not like I said, I'm not a PC gamer, but I am a gamer, and I just don't understand why this stuff's allowed to continue. And like, it's just, and I've said it before. I think it's no different than we talked about like Disney, man. Like, the wheel has gained so much momentum. The snowball has gained so much momentum that nothing other than an opposing wall of the same size is going to stop it. And the problem is, and we've talked about, we're guilty of it too. We roll over. And I will always, until I'm blue in the face, I'll bring up kind of the Anheuser-Busch scenario, right? People were so willing to boycott Anheuser-Busch for what they were doing because they had another beer company that they could have gone to. They weren't willing to give it up completely. I could be wrong in that assessment, but it's the same thing with gaming. I don't think that's why gamers are, and again, this might be subjective, but nobody's going to give up gaming. I don't care who you are, because if you were going to do it, you would have done it already, right? And I don't even know if that's enough, right? Because at the end of the day, they're going to get their money, because let's just hypothetically, and this isn't directly related to the article, but let's say that you're like, okay, I'm not going to buy any games at big box retail. I'm not going to buy from Walmart. I'm not going to buy from Best Buy. I'm not going to buy from any place that sells computer games, because I want to give it to EA and Bungie and 343 and all these other games. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give my money to PlayStation. I'm not going to give my money to Xbox, right? But you buy on Steam, right? Well, even if you buy on Steam, they're taking a 30% cut. The rest is going back to the gaming. They have rigged this system to where you can, it's like recycling. Now, that might be a bad example, but it's like you can try to do your part, but at the end of the day, you're still capitulating to the industry, because at some point in time, they're going to get their money. And that's with everything, right? If a store promotes homosexuality, transgenderism, all the stuff that you disagree with, right? Let's say they're very liberal store progressive, right? And
Right.
you are like, well, I'm not going to support the company, but I have to eat, I have to get groceries, so I'm just gonna, just buy my groceries for them. Like in conscience, you're like, well, I don't support what they stand for, but you're still giving them money. It's the same thing with the gaming industry. Well, I don't agree with ESG. I don't agree with DEI. I think it's stupid, and it's they're attacking our kids, but you're still sitting on your couch playing the newest game. Again, man, I'm guilty of it too, because I don't agree with what they're doing, but I'll still play Call of Duty with my buddies, right?
Right.
In my mind, I'm like, well, I'm just playing with my buddies. I'm just playing a game with my buddies.
You're
but ultimately
doing the social aspect of it all.
If you're doing microtransactions, you're still giving them money, and that money that you're giving them is still going to fund it. We talk about Disney Plus. I've told you I have Disney Plus. I do it for when we were reviewing Star Wars, all the Star Wars stuff. Now, ethically, you can make the argument, okay, well, you're giving your money to a company that is going after children and going against everything you stand for, and that answer is correct. Right. But on the other flip side of it is like, well, am I ethically going to steal something online to watch? What's the greater evil? Right. I guess in that perspective, might as well steal, because at least you're they're both bad. Right. They're both wrong. Right. So I don't think Sweet Baby Inc's ever going to go away until I don't even think they will. I don't even think this resolves until people are willing to give up what they want to do. But again, it's never going to happen, right? Because you just don't. I'll say this, I'll yield before. This isn't like you just have one niche market, right? This isn't like you have one demographic where everybody is conservative gamers, or everybody's of the same mindset, right? You literally have two, we'll just, for lack of a better term, or sake of argument, you have two groups, right? You have the one group that align with Tim, Allura, you, like all the gamers, right? The gamers that just want to play their games. They don't want any nonsense. They just want to play the games of reminiscent of a bygone era. Doom, Gears of War, all those games, right? We just want to play, Assassin's Creed. We just want to play old games, right?
Right.
And then you have the other side of the fence, this demographic where they want a binary wizard from Hogwarts Legacy that wants to sleep with a frog,
non-gender conforming wizard
and because this has been a slow burn, a slow indoctrination, they have this other side of the group by the hook, right? Because this other side of the hook is so mentally they're so mentally sick in a sense, they can't tell right from left, right? And that sounds
it comes down to this very premise too. Some are just hyper consumerists too. Like they have to buy the next thing. They have to buy the new. So that's how they get locked in. Like the person that buys that next year's FIFA, that next year's Madden, they've trapped themselves in this never-ending cycle. And it's up to them to break it. And the thing that I think, and we can worry about everybody else. Everybody else is purchasing. And I'm just thinking about it too right now. Even I get hung up on this. I keep trying to put the word out there. Play old, go retro, go check out older stuff. Check out mods and stuff like that from older games that are these communities that are keeping old games alive. And I don't say, and I'm not saying I'm ever gonna stop, but at the same time, it's like I also just have to come to that realization that it's like, hey, I'm at least being part of a bit of change.
The question I pose though is, even if you go old school, does the gaming industry? Two questions. This is a two-part question. Is one, the gaming industry controlled by one entity, right? That's the first question. And two, even if you go to old games, does the gaming industry that you hate so much, not you, I'm just speaking in generalities.
No, I get you.
Do they still get the money to where they can still promote their DEI and ESG? And here's the thing. I think that they will go to the lengths that Disney goes, and they will burn money because money is no object to them, right? Eventually money runs out and you can't do anything. But I think this is so dangerous because they have one demographic on the hook, right? And this demographic that they have, to your point, will just, I mean, we have the clip. Just don't ask questions. Just buy product and get excited for new product, right? That's literally their side of it, because they're so bought in to the ideology that they're pushing, right? So they will always have a steady flow of income to where this does not end. And it doesn't matter how many people on the other side boycott or stop playing the games or buying the games, because they still have they still have a return on their investment, right?
Yeah, from
until
the people
you bankrupt them completely. They're literally like Hydra, dude. What is it? Cut one head and two shall rise from the, whatever the dude said, Doctor, whatever, the red skull.
Yeah.
You cut one head, two rise from its place. So,
well, I mean, ultimately, it's like it's like you have two things that you have to really worry about when it comes to, especially like this stuff, the SweetbabyIncs. Was it like the Baby Dragon? There was one other that we found that was based in Canada. But
yeah, Anna Sarkeesian or whatever her name was.
Yeah, I think they had ties to her somehow. But let me see. I don't know if I had. Oh, Weird Ghosts was another one. That was the other one. That was the Canadian-based one. But
they're all sleeper cells, man.
So this is the thing, that you have these. So you have these groups, but these groups get these big investors. That's one. That's the one thing you do have to worry about. Then two is your own government that you have to worry about. These government, like it was that game Dustborn, was a fully funded government game to push the ideological pause on everyone, and it is so bad. It is so cringy.
Thing, man.
Oh my god, it's
don't
bad.
Have to, so these companies, at least stateside, they're going to get funding from BlackRock and Soros and everybody else that wants to push this stuff, but they're also going to get black funded by the government, and you're not going to have more money than the government. Because why? Because the government gets money. Here's the most dangerous.
That loses value over time, so it becomes you have to topple two things. You have to topple the investors, and then you have to basically topple big gov.
Here's the most dangerous part of this. And tell me if you disagree, right? The most dangerous part of this whole plan or this whole thing is that the people on the front lines, and I'm going to use the example like Tim and Allura and Raging Rhino, if they were all gamers, right? In that perspective, these people on the front lines on the other side are going to get tired and burned out of fighting. And then it's just, you know what I mean?
Right.
Look how many, and I use the example of Star Wars, man. When we started this 125 episodes ago, we were on fire, man. We were on fire. We were like, even if in the back of our mind, we probably, I think there's no way we were going to win, but we were on fire. We had a mission. We were going to be on the front lines until, we took the last bullet, took the last breath, and we were going to defend Lucas and EU and Canon to the end of to our last breath, right?
Right.
And over time, I have become a 92-year-old where I'm just tired. And so I think if you can beat the opposing force, the opposing side, they're just going to give up. It's like football, man. If you like OU and Texas, this is a really stupid example, but hear me out. It's like if you are Texas playing OU and you eviscerate them, you've dropped 30 points on them, and the other team is just tired. They're meant to like F us. There's no way we're going to win. We're down 34 points. Right. So and it's the fourth quarter and there's 2 minutes left. We might as well just give up. It's a really bad example, but if they can beat the opposing side, then they have nothing to worry about. And they honestly don't have anything to worry about now, because the other side has ensured that they will continue to have a steady flow of money to create games and push what they want to push. But I honestly still think money is of no value to them. Like Disney dropped $180 million on a show that they was just dog water was better than this show, but they did it. They injected what they wanted to push.
Yep. And
What are your
Meter
thoughts?
Advocate Simone, how's it going? He says it was from Norway, the funding for the Dustborn game.
What are your thoughts? Am I completely crazy? You often say like, no. Sometimes you'll say I'm crazy. I'm like, man, I hate it that you're right, or I hate it that I can see how you could be right. And I want you, before you talk, I want you to come at this from a 1000% gaming perspective. The gamer, I want the gamer in you to talk.
So your question is like how long, like, for the fight in this is what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying, do you think everything that I've said is completely off base? And what do you think will be the the turn of the tide, or is it just going to continue to be this battle between those who support ESG and DEI and the other side that just wants to play old games like Doom? And what is there any type of course correcting
sort of thing?
Because like a couple episodes ago, you said it needs to burn to the ground.
Absolutely, I still believe that. I have believed that for a long time. The gaming industry needs to burn down and restart.
But you honestly think that will fix it? Because now you're not dealing with a physical company. You're dealing with an ideology which is invisible, and you can't just. It's not tangible. An ideology. Right. This is now it's thinking. It's how people are how their wires are crossed and they believe this stuff. So it's not like, okay, let's go burn a building and just have it rebuilt, right? Let's just I don't know if it's as easy as burning it to the ground.
So you're kind of like what Nerdy Neo here said. How would stopping gaming entirely have any more of an effect than just not playing games from companies you don't agree with? Is that kind of also what you're getting at there?
Yeah, Nerneo is that's a good point. I don't know. I guess it comes back to the fact of like, if enough people stand in unity and I don't know. That's a good point. See, Nerdy, he does this. He's really good. He brings up good points that I don't think about. So good on you. No, that's a really good point, Neo.
Well, I thought it is kind of related.
I guess at that level, at that level, then subconsciously you know that you're not supporting it, and you're not giving them more money to use for future games. But with what he said, that puts you between a rock and a hard spot, honestly. So maybe I retract my state. I don't know.
I mean,
how do you stop a conglomerate? How do you stop an industry? How do you stop? It'd be the same question. How do you stop Hollywood?
I think the thing is like it is, like I was kind of starting to get to a little bit, is that from my own perspective, from my own side of it, all I can do is just stick to what I'm doing. And maybe in some way I could maybe point people in the direction that I'm going, or maybe just by I hate to say leading by example, because it makes it sound so much more like nobler or some shit like that I would be doing, but I'm not. At least I don't feel like it. It's just like, I mean, I've made bold statements and I've tried to stay true to that. I try to investigate companies before buying into certain games. And I also just try to refrain from buying games in general. When I said I had stopped playing Helldivers 2 because of all the bullshit that was going on behind the scenes and with their community managers and stuff like that, I've held true to that.
I think there's things
I've admitted that I've goofed on purchasing of those sort of games and stuff like that. I've gotten a little swept up in the FOMO, the fear of missing out. But I think it just comes down to, all because yes, I think you're absolutely right in the sense that, the big question is like, how do you stop the ideology? How do you stop the mindset that's already out there? Like, sure, yes, you can burn the whole industry down. Thing is that then there's still the people that were part of it. So it calls to what do you do then?
It's almost like rebellion versus the Empire. Like you had the Empire that thought a certain way.
It's almost like you kind of have to get to Palpatine taking over the Republic. and you might have to execute Order 66. I'm just saying.
Well, the original Order 66, not.
Well,
not
there were
the
the original Order 66 that was successful, not the one that shit the bed.
I need to say this really quick because I do feel somewhat bad, or I want to clarify. I'm sure that there are gaming companies out there that are not fully aligned with the companies that
there are those out there, yes, for sure.
And I guess I should be careful because I don't want to paint. I think I've painted the whole gaming industry as one big entity that is supporting what we're talking about. So I'm sure there's probably gaming companies out there or trying to be upcoming game companies that would probably not do that. But also, I know I would venture to say that if you don't support what is being pushed, what funding will you get? How are you going to get money? Right?
Yeah. Well, and I think,
and that leaves you to your own demise to try to fund games. So,
like even Dan Black right here points out, do not fund your own demise, for sure.
Right.
And he points out something interesting here. I think it's pointless to focus on individual titles in any medium, film or games. It's the entire industry from top to bottom that needs fundamental changes. It's not just individuals rocking a boat. Absolutely.
Point. How do you do that?
Right. And that's kind of what
burning the whole industry.
Because like you say, the ideology.
The question you have to ask is, what is the industry? Does the industry go beyond a building to an ideology, or is it just a company? And that's why I bring up the ideology. You can't how do you destroy thinking? How do you destroy an ideology? This is like perfect. This is V for Vendetta. You haven't watched it, you should. This is literally V for Vendetta. He's going against the whole premise of the movie is, Britain has become this. It's totalitarian, apocalyptic movie, right? But he's fighting an ideology. He's going against the status quo. He's going against this empire. He's trying to, with the plan of trying to blow up Parliament, but he's doing that as a symbol to destroy something larger, which is the ideology that has been established. Right. That might be a really bad description of the movie, but I mean, the premise fits. He's fighting an ideology.
Yeah.
Yes, is he killing people along the way? Yeah, he is. But at the end of the day, he's attacking an ideology. So when he says fundamentally, there needs to be a fundamental change. How do you do that?
Well,
I know you're not talking about burning down a physical. I know you're not talking about burning down a physical building, but how do you destroy an industry if the industry itself is an ideology?
I think we might through the likes of Ubisoft, we might first see maybe some of the cracks in that building so far, because to like it is, that's going certainly to
how do you fight the people? Get him, Ray. We have you, Ray.
God,
how do you destroy those people? How do you fight that? We love you, Ray. Like, you love Ray? That's
right.
I say that in jest, but it's like these are the people, man. These are the people that will welcome, Ian McGregor and Hayden Christensen on stage after the abomination of Kenobi.
Yeah.
Like, these people are so bought in. I'm grateful for what Ian and Hayden did in the prequels, but I am very disappointed that they came back and they allowed that to happen. And this is on a side note. People can say, well, they were just doing what the director said. You're right, but they had a choice. They could say, like, no, we're not doing it, and then you can't have a show.
Right.
So it's just, like I said, I bring that up because these are the people that, like, they're so bought in.
I wish I
literally
had
sell them a broken clock and they would think it's the greatest thing ever. Not me, but like somebody could sell them something and they're so bought in. I get everybody has their difference in opinions. I get that. I mean, there's stuff within the EU that I really, really love, and there's other stuff that I love less, right?
Right.
But I don't know. I have the wherewithal to know what's stupid and what's not stupid. A clone that's a clone of a male that's a female is stupid. It is genetically impossible. It defies the laws of. That's stupid. That makes no sense. And for people to eat that up like it's oatmeal is equally stupid. Probably more so is probably more stupid than the fact that you like this, that you don't take the time to sit back and think, wait a tick, she's a girl. Nico's a dude. How does that happen? But no, they're like, Mika, she's amazing. We love Crosshair. We love, the dumb big clone that's like reminds me of Gronk Krakowski. They'll eat up the witch sisters, conjuring up two twins out of nowhere, pulling them out their butthole. I'd actually make more sense if they pulled it out of their butthole, because at least you could somehow, that than just like conjuring them up through the force when it's already happened. Or I guess, but they love that stuff. They love the fact that Sabine cheated death. But they don't realize that she got stabbed in two different places within the episode.
Yeah. Well, and I get, before we close off just, the updates to Sweet Baby's site and stuff like that, as Dan Blackroyd points out here, starve it of money and the people there for their own gain will evaporate. The people who need to be there will find a way through. Yeah.
I've done this show for so long with Fractured, guys, that I have now become cynical. He was our whole, like, Fractured coined, he has coined the cynicalness, right? He has always been the cynical one, and I've been whatever.
I know, freaking Colt Carl's been calling me like the top hater, number one hater. And here I've been recently positive about a couple of things, and he just has to keep at it. He's just trying to draw the negativity back out of me. And I'm like, but I'm
trying to. This guy, I don't think we talked about this last show. This guy that's on the other end of the mic had the audacity to say that Outlaws was a better gameplay than Shadows of the Empire on Nintendo 64.
I need evidence of that. I need it.
You did, and Chiefster said it. His new name is Mr. Objectivity.
Oh, I know you guys were calling me that, yeah.
Or objectivity and positivity. No, he's always been the cynical one, but now I'm to this point where
now he too is getting just as
I think it's all the shows that we reviewed, but even this stuff, there's no hope. There's no hope. You could tell me that it's going to burn down in 2025, and no, it's not.
There you have it, folks. Hitman has truly fallen to the dark side.
No, but tell me it's going to get better. Tell me that, like,
not with I can't tell you that with a straight face. No,
because it's not. And like I said, I don't have the answer. I don't know how to fight it.
I wish I did too.
I think it is such, the cog is turning at a fast rate, and it's such a massive cog in the machine. You're not gonna.
I think we're really just at such a we have to wait and see for certain things to take place
to
see what happen.
I will say this: everything with Ubisoft though brings up. I don't know if I ever thought this would happen.
Yeah, Ubisoft has really kicked themselves in the balls.
To steal Fractured's name here, I think that there might be some fractures within the.
Look at you! Look at you!
How do you get rid of Sweet Baby Inc? Who's giving them the money?
That's why I said you have to get rid of the investors, and you have to get rid of government.
You don't
remove those two things, and then you remove Sweet Baby Inc. But otherwise, they are fully dug in like a tick because they are funded in one way or another. Because
Well,
they
that's
are
what
all,
I'm telling you.
or
And that's,
as we've known, and we talked about this with the Sun Wukong stuff. DEI, ESG, all that is also just as majorly funded by China too.
there's
So
only and this could be just maybe not logical, but in my mind, the only point to fund something is if you have somebody to receive it, somebody to consume it. So that's why
They have
that's why I go
masses of
back.
idiots
Yes,
that are consuming
and that's
this.
because if the other side of the fence goes away or sees the light, they're not going to buy the game. So therefore, it doesn't make any point for investors to put money in because there's not. They're going to.
No, but they need it around just long enough to do the damage that they need to do on any outside culture and stuff like that, and then whatever other plans they have, they'll enact and take over.
So, I think the point of attack is to, and again, I don't know if you win it, but the other side is just as dangerous as the people investing because they're consuming it, and therefore it's a given. It's a given.
Consuming it and oftentimes defending it.
Both are feeding off each other.
Yeah,
the investors are getting what they need out of the consumer, and the consumer is getting what they need. I mean, it's ideally capitalism in a sense, but this doesn't go away unless one side of the fence, gives out, and I don't see the consumers giving out. And as long as the consumers don't give out, I don't see the investors stop investing because they're giving money. And the investors, maybe they generally do believe in what DEI and ESG stands for, or they just see a way to make money. People are greedy, right? They could not care what issue could be against morality. If they're going to make money, they're going to make money because money is their idol. That's a subjective comment, but that's kind of my thought. Like there's a lot of people who just money's what they want, and the means doesn't really matter as long as if the ends justify the means, then they'll do it.
Right.
I'm not saying that's the case here. Maybe they genuinely do, or maybe they just hate the other side so much that they are going to get in bed with this side. I don't know, but it's very interesting that like these issues have infiltrated things outside the political sphere, outside the ballot box. And I said this years ago, they've infiltrated Star Wars. They've infiltrated anything that has to do with escapism. They've infiltrated it. They've infiltrated the gaming industry. And this is why this is very Palpatine-esque, man. They could have just left it at that. They could have just left it within the political sphere. They could have just left it at the ballot box. But how do you indoctrinate people? How do you get people on your side?
I'd even say very Darth Bane.
Very much so. Very much so.
All right. Let me hit some of these comments here. We had Fear of FEMA jumping in. Hello. Saying Alan Wake 2 is instantly horrible from the first time you see what's her face. Timon had pointed out the woke mafia. We got Nerdy Neo's question here about stopping game companies. They said they'd probably want non-binary as binary is the normal. That's I swear all the lingos just make my head freaking explode. I don't even know anymore. And hello, Brandon Tran. How's it going? Saying hello, guys. Hope you're having a good so far. So far, so good. We've already kind of gone into some crazy territory, but it wouldn't be a Saturday Night Sith without it, right? And he was commenting to Nerdy Neo saying, honestly, Disney needs to keep modern politics out of Star Wars. Trans clones feels very random. Kind of back to that topic for sure, because we did cover that at the start of the show. It needs to considering now, like it is with their mindsets, the personal is political. You have to do more than just politics. You have to do a whole lot of street clean. You have to do a whole lot of cleaning, and it's not going to be pretty. And then Dan Black, right after his pointing out about the about the focus on individuals, he's also added crossover is rampant. The VFX community jumps from each to each depending on the availability of work. Same with writers, actors, and even execs now. Yeah, it's all become very much mercenary work in a weird way. It's kind of funny. Nobody's quite locked down into a job or office or whatever like once upon a time. Brandon Trent says, don't know if you guys follow political movies, but what do you think of Matt Walsh's mockumentary? I didn't know that's what that was called. Am I Racist? Making fun of liberal side of America. I've heard about that one. I haven't seen it myself. I haven't even seen this other one. What was this other one? The What Is a Woman or whatever? He did that whole side of things too. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen either one, to be honest with you. I can only guess that some of it kind of comes off for somebody like myself as kind of a bunch of normie takes, but I'll have to check those out at some point. I think I heard the
battery 40%.
Oops. The Am I Racist is supposed to be good too. But like I said, I haven't seen it. Let's see here. Brandon Trent said, I don't know too many mockumentaries, but Am I Racist is pretty good. Movie like Sacha Baron Cohen's Borat. Oh no. I could not stand that fucking movie. I thought it was stupid. I wanted to kick the guy in the balls, and that was probably the point. I didn't find it particularly funny. I found it like even then very weirdly insulting and just obnoxious and stupid. And we were watching a buddy of mine and everything. He had brought it over and we were watching it, and I was really just like, I tuned out. I was like, I would happily do anything else but watch this right now. So I was clearly not the audience. I was not that was made for. Brandon Trent said, I don't know if you guys are aware, but did you know apparently the left is canceling YouTuber Jeremy Johns because they hate his review of Am I Racist? No, what's that about? I haven't heard about that. What was the problem? Was he too neutral on it? Like, Nerdy Neo, did you know your battery's at 40%? God damn it. I knew this was coming. And Dan Black, I want to know more about Fracture's documentary. Have I charged my headset? I knew I made a mistake when I hit that button immediately. I was like, oh crap, that's gonna get heard on the stream.
It also says your battery, your mic's turning off. Boomered it.
At least it was. Well, that was the thing. Like, I wanted to check and make sure my headset was still on, and I didn't have that boomer moment like it was when I thought I couldn't hear you, and it was my headset that had automatically turned off on me. That shouldn't be an issue anymore. It should stay on no matter what. So I won't have that issue anymore. I saw to that. Melissa Lord said, Ali G was funny, Borat was lame. I haven't seen Ali G either. Like Sacha Baron Cohen, that was the first time I heard of the guy was Borat, and I was just like, I could care less. Nerdy Neo says they're pissed just that he actually went and watched and reviewed the movie. Oh, that's it? Just went and watched and reviewed it. That's it. Okay. Brandon Trent says Jeremy Johns doesn't reveal his politics and probably gave a neutral opinion on it. Oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense. Nerdy Neo says if you're using OBS, you should only capture audio from audio sources, not all the. Okay, so here's the thing. I use that application Voice Meter, and Voice Meter I use so when we do the Stargate watch, it'll play on the stream so everybody can hear it. At least this is certainly how I was originally doing things when I wasn't completely sharing the screen at all times like we do when we switch over to Rumble and Odyssey and everything now. But I still keep using the same setup for this stream. It's because I know it works, and I know that people can hear the show when we're playing it, and that's all I care. It's for you, the people. And over on Rumble, we've got Deck U1 saying sup. You know, well, not much for us. We're just doing our thing, doing our stream. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for watching on Rumble. Much appreciated. Always good to see the Rumble activity. Neo said, I'm not familiar with that program, but I guess that makes sense. It was that, and I was trying to use it for, like, you know, getting better sound out of my microphone and all that sort of stuff. So it was kind of a whole multi-point thing. And that's why then you hear my audio, and I could set it up better so that sort of stuff doesn't come through, but I can only do so much. Well, we're already getting into the thick of it. Okay. So, more Sweet Baby. So, the CEO, Kim Belair, is now screeching that that she's, I guess, was reflecting on the company backlash. Says anti-DEI critics are coming together under the rallying cry of far-right supremacy. Honestly, the idea of them even coming together is rather hilarious, considering how disjointed this side is with trying to do anything at all. The idea that this is the hilarious thing. This is kind of like their gaslighting of their side, thinking that there is even any rallying of sorts happening. Yes, there's been groups of us, or, you know, some of the YouTubers and everything like that, that talk about this stuff, but that's, for a lot of them, all it is. It's talk. They'll bring it up on their little shows or whatever, kind of like what we're doing and everything. But I mean, does it go beyond that? Does it continue? No, it's usually just that hit moment, and even it fades from memory. It has to be really something big for them to really go, okay, let's talk about this again. And unlike, you know, we're doing it because it's like, hey, it's a good idea. We haven't talked about it for a little bit, and there's probably been a lot of stuff we've missed in the time. So here we are. But like I said, it's funny that they think that there's anything of a cohesive unit. But anyway, in the opinion of company CEO Kim Belair, not only has an ongoing discourse surrounding the work of Sweet Baby Inc. amounted to nothing more than campaign of harassment, but as critics' opposition to the concept of corporate-style diversity, equity, and inclusion is an indicator of their far-right ideals. It's simple. Really simple. And it's just the fact of not even including this bullshit. Because all this is, is government push garbage enforced on companies to enact things, enact policies, enact things that they don't even need because they are already, you know, higher, you know. It's a simple thing of bringing back meritocracy. And that's all people are talking about. Hiring the best person for the job, yada, yada, yada. It's basic bitch stuff, folks. And there's no need for this nonsense. And all they're trying to do with these programs too, like it is just artificially inflate the market further. Yes, get their own lunatics and stuff like that into these companies, because, you know, that's how these commies work. They are very parasitic. They know how to infect and, you know, subvert, pervert, and destroy. They are very good at it. They've been doing it for decades upon decades upon decades. And I mean, it in some of the sense, it's what it's going to come down to too. It's going to come down to companies saying no, actually passing on the government buck, not accepting these programs, and yes, hiring the people that are going to be best for the job. And as Nerdy Neo says, yep, they were all too scared of it. That's all they are. They're very scared. Unless you're talking about something else there. But they're basically afraid of the idea of meritocracy. Belair offered her take on the situation while hosting a keynote panel at the recent 2024 edition of XOXO Festival, which per its official website, isn't it?
Your mic's going off.
No, I think it's my hard drive. It's the website is an experimental festival celebrating independent artists and creators, god damn it, working on the internet. Excuse me. Whose various speakers typically discuss the emotional experience of making things online with difficult subjects, including financial insecurity, anxiety, depression, mental health, imposter syndrome, burnout, racism, sexism, and online harassment. There was a post out there once upon a time that said, if you don't want to get bullied online, well, fuck it. Just turn off the damn internet. Turn off your phone. Just stop going online. Or just never go online to begin with. Don't become a public figure. Taking the stage on Saturday, August 24th, the CEO specifically centered her panel on the aforementioned wave of criticism and discussion currently being leveled towards Sweet Baby Inc. In particular, her and her team's experiences in attempting to weather the storm. Oh, poor baby. Starting out, hello, I'm Kim Belair. She began with an introduction. In my circles, I am largely considered, I think, a relatively nice person. You were the one telling people in, what was it, like, that were outside of HR positions and stuff like that, to basically all out berate and attack to get these HR companies or HR groups and stuff like that to conform to your way of doing things. I mean, I could be mistaken here, but I believe we went over that, right? That whole little thing she did. She's at another little conference speaking on this nonsense, saying all that.
Linguistic nonsense.
Agreed. But these are my dogs, Sage and Flaky. Okay. These are my cats, Tag and Gray Boy. Okay. I really enjoy Lego. Okay. I collect skulls and taxidermy. Yeah, you're kind of a weirdo. And I also really like playing in a lot of video games, including Elden Ring. Press X to doubt. Press X to doubt. And let's name current big game craze right now. But by the day, she then joked, I am a crazed CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., the DEI-obsessed censorship mafia who is currently ruining and wokeifying all the video games that you've ever played. I mean, you certainly help direct people to certain companies, sure, but the companies that are working with you, I would say, are also equally as guilty. So not just you, but you're helping out. It's kind of like how you can only blame Kathleen Kennedy for so much. You have to look down at the underlings, like Dave Filoni, the little dog fucker that he is, and know that he's causing a lot of trouble himself. He's adding to all the problems just as much as the person up top. If you haven't heard of Sweet Baby Inc., thank you. That's actually how I prefer it. Yeah, you prefer staying in the shadows. You don't want us to know about you. The big mistake was us all getting wind of it. But you done goofed, and we might not even been there. It's like more people are starting to pay attention. Maybe, who knows? She continued. If you have, you've either heard of us from all those wonderful games we've worked on, or perhaps you're familiar with the nearly year-long hate campaign that has been waged against us as a team. Unfortunately, today I'm here to talk about that. In a talk I'm going to call What Happens When You Get Harassed, a Sweet Baby Story. Oh, bitch, you haven't even gotten the tip of the iceberg on that sort of shit. You like to think you've gotten something of the harassment. I'd say there's been kid gloves used right now. Doing her best Doc Brown impression, Belair then took audiences back in time to the company's origin point, explaining we started out in 2018, but it was really in 2020 that we came to any kind of industry prominence. It was in the backdrop of COVID quarantine, sending everybody home from the office, Belair recalled. The Me Too sweeping through the games industry as various bad actors were named and shamed, appropriately, I should say, and also the Black Lives Matter protests were in full swing. The summer of love. At the time, the industry was kind of responding in the way you might imagine, with a lot of corporate overpromising. But within the writing sphere, there were a lot of others for portfolio reviews, like, hey, if you're marginalized, or especially a black dev, we would love to give you a portfolio review. I want to say I love portfolio reviews. But the problem with portfolio reviews is that they also assume it's a meritocracy, right? It should be. It generally has been. She continued, they assume the problem is your portfolio and not the fact that maybe there's a lot of other reasons you're not getting the gig. Companies have a lot of stupid requirements, a lot of stupid ideas of what they do need, what they do think they have to bring on people for, or whatever reason. There's so much red tape for that for companies too that they have to jump through to, yes, maybe bring on certain people to decide whether or not they're a risk or not. They do have to run background checks and yada yada yada. If they find certain things with these certain people that they, yes, may or may not like, or may think that they will, work for the company or not work for the company. But that's the thing now. Also, with these DEI initiatives and stuff like that, which is basically erasing any precautions that companies would take with hiring some people, and just saying, the hell with it. We'll bring any wacko, weirdo, lazy shit onto the program. Whether or not they do the work, we're at least showing we're bringing in numbers. And that's what matters, the numbers. So knowing that there were myriad problems to be solved, we created an email called talk@sweetbabyinc.com. And we said, hey, if you're a developer who wants to get into the industry, if you're someone already in the industry and you want to talk, just talk to us. Oh, good Lord. I feel like my eyes are being graped. The hell am I looking at here? Members of Worm Drama attempt to take a band photo in Goodbye Volcano High. Yeesh. Again, like my whole thing too with the gaming industry at this point, it's like you have so many avenues to self-promote, to self-distribute. You have even the Steam, was it the Steam Curator and stuff like that, that offers the ability for people to, get their indie projects up on there. And some of the demented stuff that they kind of have on Steam right now, Valve, you might want to curate a little bit more. Because, good Lord, I have seen things now, and I partly blame the Melee games for this because they've been playing some really weird shit. But yes, Steam, you may. But you know what? You're getting... If there's a market for it, I guess, what do I know?
Thank you, Steam.
In that year, we ended up with a lot of people we connected to. And this is how these networks start. It's that email, it's that Discord group, it's the DM groups on X or Twitter or whatever. It starts to become a very incestuous thing between all these people and everything. And that's what we saw back in the day with the original Gamergate and the whole little journalist network of them all talking to each other, sharing what they were going to do. You'd think we would have learned a thing or two. Helping people get into the industry. And we also talked about the importance of telling stories from a variety of perspectives, especially. Listen, you can tell your crappy stories if you want to. Just don't expect the rest of us to pay for it and buy it and get into it. Because generally we're not. Because it's only made for you freaking weirdos. But then you want to yell at us and go, you first want to yell at us and say it's not made for you. And then you want to yell at us and go, well, why aren't you buying our games? And all I can just say is, go fuck yourselves. You're not entitled to my money. You're not entitled to my time. So, yeah.
They think you are, though.
They do. And I'm just like, piss off.
They want your money.
They do. They want it bad. They're hungry for it. But then they immediately, then they realize that they're
racist if you don't give them your money.
Well, then that's just it. Like, once they realize they can't get your money, then they tell you to fuck off. They hate they've hated gamers all along, and they piss off. I forget what the company was that did that. There's a indie game dev that did that a while back that said, fuck gamers, always hated them, we're out of here. After they put out their piece of shit game. As we joined new conversations, we worked on more projects, more people joined our team. In those subsequent years, we grew from a team of only 5 to a team of 16 incredibly talented people. During that time, as you might imagine, a lot of game teams were looking for guidance, both in terms of narrative, but also in terms of learning how to tell diverse stories and diverse characters. This is the thing, too, is that, as time did go on, people stopped referring to the likes of Anita Sarkeesian because they found out that certainly openly talking to her, because that's what it immediately become is a journalist story of her going to whatever game company was usually the kiss of death. And I think companies kind of caught on after a time, and she was still trying to do her stupid, feminist frequency crap. And I think that's where then companies like this, the SweetbabyInc, Ghost whatever, what the hell was that? Weird Ghosts come in. They filled a void. They had a logo, they had a company name, but they didn't have the negative stigma of what Sarkeesian was bringing to everything. Until people started getting wind of these freaking companies and realizing what they were doing. Now they've become the new kiss of death.
Janet Sarkeesian was the best thing that ever happened.
I mean, it certainly helped alert people. That was for sure. Let's see. And so naturally, because we were kind of in that conversation, we helped them throughout the years. Again, we worked on tons of games. For the most of these, we did writing, story development, and sometimes we just came on and did spot checks. See, this is like to what I said earlier when we were looking at the website. and like they even said on the website is that they could just be brought in at any time during development. So like they say, they only just came in, did a check on the game, and even then it passed their test, I guess, or whatever. And then the company could go, all right, we've brought you in. We can now get our paycheck from daddy government or whatever. They could fill out their, they've done their due diligence of bringing in the company that oversees this crap. But yeah. So it could just be a symbol, and they get paid for this shit. That's the fuck thing, man. And that's like this is why too. So not only like marketing, but now game companies that have to, partake in this bullshit. This is also part of what the big budget is going to. So anytime like you see like the games projects that, cost X whatever millions or whatever, you have to you have to realize too, this is also being probably factored into that to also, kind of bump it up, going, oh my God, look how much money was spent on this game to make it. There's a bunch of extra little things going into that nowadays. Because once upon a time, it was just called, the game development costs, X amount, because they had to hire actors, say for like Mortal Kombat. They hired actors and martial artists to do the blue screen stuff, basically to act out as the characters, be all dressed up in the gear and all that jazz, and do all that stuff. And then, of course, the time and everything, rendering, and then the soundtrack, doing all that stuff. Yes, that was originally just kind of the original portion of it. And then, yes, then you might have had the light marketing back in the day of like putting it out in magazine ads and stuff like that. For anybody that, still picked up a magazine, still has picked up a magazine even today, that sees that sort of stuff. Or a TV spot commercial and stuff like that, Nowadays, though, I mean, it's very easily done by themselves for some of it. But then, now it's like the marketing budgets are so overblown because they're putting them into this and that, into either at game conferences and everything like that, using licensed music, all this sort of stuff. And even back to that was the fun back in the day, is like they got the games industry got away with a lot of shit before people
so
started
much. Yeah, well, Gamergate 2.0, or I'm sorry, Gamersgate.
So much. Well, I mean like back in the day for video game development, stuff like that, where for Doom they were using music from big bands like Metallica and everything.
Yeah,
so,
back when things were good and nobody cared.
Yeah, well, nobody.
Or I guess maybe not necessarily cared, but
No, I know what you mean though. It was not like they were so. Even like the musicians and stuff were so money hungry, they were trying to get sure to get their money out of the games and stuff like that. But now it's just it's inflated. It's just grown beyond itself. Now, if you're hyper focused on narrative in all its parts and you get really good at it, the CEO told attendees, you get really, really specific at it, and you become craftspeople. Oh God, I hate what they've done to language, what they're trying to do to language. And funnily enough, that's why and funnily enough, as far as this company is concerned, that was actually my end game. I wanted us to become craftspeople. When I was a kid, I learned a lot about Carrie Fisher, and beyond her acting career, she was actually a very respected script doctor in Hollywood. I remember finding that so fascinating and really striking, because quite famously, she was someone who struggled a lot with the eye of fame. But it was so comforting and interesting to hear that in this community of artists and writers, she was deeply respected just for her craft. And by fans. Oh my God. And if I'm being honest, just as a creative myself, let's not put yourself over that much, lady. Come on. That's all I ever really wanted, she noted. I've never wanted to be known by audiences, really. I have never wanted to be known by gamers, certainly. Well, too bad for that. You shouldn't have gotten yourself into situations. Huh? Maybe you should have had a good little face person out there to be your double or whatever. I've wanted to be known by game devs and writers, especially. See, this is the thing. Being known by gamers can generally be a very positive thing, especially when there is good being done within the industry. That's why speak to a lot of gamers. Speak to them, and bring up certain game series, certain franchises, certain people, I know I'll speak for myself on this. It's like, I know of, a lot of us, one of the people that I'll always point to is, putting together and helping be a part of one of the greatest game franchises out there, which was Legacy of Kain. And that's, I have always brought her up, Amy Hennig. Fantastic person, did a great job with that storyline, helping craft it, and respected the voice actors that were helping partake in it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure she is the one that made the point that when Tony J had passed away, that it was like, well, maybe it is, maybe that next game is fine not being developed. This is how fan bases get created for particular actors, and then when those fan bases are propping up those certain voice actors, that helps them get more work. The best, if anything, I mean, this is here, right? This tells me exactly how much it always comes back to how much they hate gamers, how much they hate the people that are partaking in the hobby most of all. And they want only the accolades of the quote unquote elites of the industries and whatever. They just, again, to show their scorn and despisement of us. Well, yeah, Timon saying to be known without being good at it. Hey, Captain Keeley saying good day, chat. Hello, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Anyways, I've wanted to be known by game devs and writers, especially. I want teams and studios and writers and creatives to think of us when they need a hand, when they want more support. I want to be a game dev's game dev, and that's... She basically doesn't want to work on anything original, not of her own work, to go on her own merit of work. No, she has to parasitically leech off of other people's creativity, off of other people's hard work. She just wants to come in and tell them what to do, to redesign it to her liking and not to the liking of the artist, the creator, the person that is, encouraged and has this creativity that wants to put something together. No, she just wants to come in, leech, and like I said, subvert, pervert, and destroy. That's all she wants to fucking do. And she can't create that. And she herself is not actually a creative. Being an idea person, sure, it can be good, but it doesn't mean you're a creative. It just means you can come up with some good ideas. Sorry. Still kind of getting over a sickness. Sorry, you were going to say?
I was checking on you. It sounded like you almost died.
Oh, no, I'm good. However, despite her building excitement while discussing her own work, Belair then bluntly admitted, but that is not what happened. Because in October 2023, we had about 70 games under our belt at the time. 70 games. They are not listing. Because this is a tough thing. We can't legitimately get a true list of what all 70 games must be at this point. Because you can't look at IMDb, because any jackass can edit IMDb, much like Wikipedia. So That'd be great to actually know how many of these freaking, what are all the titles? I don't even think Cabrutus's site has gotten everything. So, but two of them, two very, very big ones, were about to drop within a week of each other. The narrative consultant recalled. So on October 23rd, there was Spider-Man 2. On October 27th, Alan Wake 2. Okay, now I'm kind of curious. Now, when did we first talk about Sweet Baby?
It's been donkey's years.
It feels like it, right? I'm really curious. I know I clipped it out. I put it on the gaming channel, and that it did gangbusters over there. Let's see here. Yeah, so that says 11 months ago. Ah, darn! I gotta sign into it, and I can. Oh, come on! You darn thing! Like I said, I got to know.
Spider-Man 2 is probably on it.
Well, I know there's a myriad of reasons why we like checked in on it and everything. I want the exact. I was trying to remember the exact date of which we talked about it. That's the thing. Just to kind of get a reference here. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, Sweet Baby Inc. Beware their involvement. November 7th. Dang, we were after the fact. Okay. At least that's when that was published. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. I just had to check. All right, let me get back to this. Where is it? There we are. Anyway. So on October 23rd, there was Spider-Man 2. October 27th, Alan Wake 2. Both are big AAA games, and we worked on narrative and character for both of them. That explains a lot. With literally years of work on Spider-Man 2, and we would finally get to announce them. We were very excited. In retrospect, we were comically excited because we had a couple of thousand followers at the time, mostly game devs, and we were like, okay, it's time to stand up and be proud of our work. Wow, this is going to be really nice. Yeah, until people saw the storylines and how bitch made you made poor Spider-Man. I remember thinking that morning as we made these posts, I wonder if anyone's going to notice that we posted about Spider-Man and Alan Wake. Like, will anyone put it together? She added, because I think our way of working at Sweet Baby, the kind of teamwork we do on so many different games, is really, really unique. I think it's really cool. I think people will be excited about it and about our craft. So I decided to do a cheeky Google and see, like, hey, had anyone put that together? The Google search went bad, she admitted. I shouldn't have done it because rather than any praise or people going, wow, how did you do it? Or just, hey, a narrative development company? What does that mean? I'm really interested. You had such delusions of grandeur. Oh my God. You really? She was a legend in her own mind. We were instead found by 4chan. Oh, the evil 4chan it. And the worst people on Twitter. Yes. Literally within a few hours of me seeing that first post, we were not only being accused of forcing a black person into Alan Wake, which one is cool, but we didn't do, and also of putting pride flags in the Spider-Man's New York, which again, So good. Love to see them, but we were not responsible for them. No, that was even done in the original Spider-Man. Like, if anybody, I thing is, I don't believe what she's saying anyways on the Spider-Man part, because like I said, that was the controversy with the first game. People found the code. It was for the Middle East version of Spider-Man that you could use to switch the code off, and it'd be all American flags, and the Pride flags would be gone. Oh, whoops! And then, of course, Nexus mod managers, being a bunch of cucks that they are, deleted the mod. I think I still have it. I think I made sure and I downloaded it before it was wiped out. Anyways, said Belair. Suddenly we were being told that we were funded by BlackRock and that actually we weren't a narrative development company. We were a DEI company. Well, all from a certain point of view, right? Some kind of vaguely defined censor that we were here to use all of the power we had amassed to force companies to go woke. I'd certainly say help encourage it for sure.
Or break their kneecap.
Just further facilitate it. Suddenly the conspiracy was alive, Belair told the crowd. They were finding photos of us, sometimes of our families or our contractors. They were doxing me, and if it was readily available online, it wasn't doxing. You made that publicly available. That's on you. If they did have to do some searching, well, and other members of the team, anyone calling these attacks out as doxing was accused of doxing themselves or lashing out. And this is the thing. It's funny, they will quickly throw around the whole thing of doxing, yada yada. They certainly don't shy and hold back when they do it to anybody on quote unquote our side. They in fact see themselves as being so righteous and whatnot that it's the morally right thing to do to out the bigots. Well, you guys set these rules. I don't know how you want any kind of sympathy, or at least certainly how you expect sympathy from some people that have seen what has happened to a lot of people, that all they wanted was such a simple thing of journalists to not be lying, scum-sucking weasels, and to actually be credible journalists to do their fucking job. I mean, I know, crazy, right? But I saw tons of just regular ass people that just, wanted the ethics and games journalism people. That's all they wanted. That's all they were asking for out of the games journalists. And they were doxxed. They were harassed. Some people, again, like I said, normal ass people that asked for these very basic things, had these weirdos, these whack jobs go after their jobs and stuff like that too. And some people were lucky. Their bosses were cool and were like, fuck off. Yada, yada. They didn't do it. Or there were the unfortunate people that did lose their jobs. And like I say, they started this. They certainly enacted a lot of this bullshit first and foremost. So when it kind of starts going on them, I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of sympathy. Just like they wouldn't have a lot of sympathy for me. What can I say? Let's see. At its peak, at its peak there, which was somewhere around February or March of this year, we were getting something like 300 emails a day, which admittedly some of those are going to be spam or bots or whatever, but they were often accompanied by death threats and threats to our families. Did you report them to the police? I'm waiting to see if we have anything like that. She claimed we did have one bomb threat made to the police that they contacted us about. And at best, the nicest thing we could see in some of these spaces was that we were a punchline, but any defenders were really shouted down quite quickly. To this end, she then asserted, in moments when this movement couldn't dig up another reason to attack us, they would just move on to other groups they perceived to be like us, all while doing the work of erasing those people's actual jobs and interests and papering over it with that rallying cry of far-right supremacy. DEI! Lisa, bitch. You made the rules. As a fat land whale once said, you made your bed, now get fucked in it. And as ridiculous and stupid as it all was, I actually was not prepared for the escalation when noted buffoon and Twitter CEO Elon Musk decided that he would chime in. Well, you certainly aren't ingratiating yourself towards him. That he would chime in with his very cool thoughts. You'd think that I mean, again, this is the thing. They will attack. And anytime anybody on our side does start this, yeah, exactly. No receipts, no threats. I'm with you on that one, Timon. 100%, brother. But you know, they don't worry about like the PR tier shit. They let their own psychos run about while, again, our side tries to wrangle, tries to calm or water down the message and and everything like that. No, they are very firm of what they do. They know to, again, like I said, they attack. And when it's shown, our side does kick back and actually starts, doing some of that right back at them. Amazingly, we do see a little bit of push. But then somewhere down the line, there's that moderate cuck that comes along and has to, come on, guys. We just have to hear him out. Or whatever the bullshit excuse is. Anyways, so this was a hard, Belair admitted, so this was the whole time. Since the beginning, it wasn't great, but we were receiving countless emails, all this constant hate. It was targeted enough to feel disconcerting, even when it was kind of silly. And it was also kind of drowning out the support. But when Elon chimed in, it really made me realize the scale of it, because the richest man in the world was suddenly turning the eye of Sauron onto 16 people trying to make a pretty modest living in the industry they love. And he was arguing for our collapse. I mean, I'm no fan of Elon, but sometimes he has his uses. When this happened and it got bigger than this, she explained it made us realize that this was huge. We were being attacked in a massive and coordinated campaign. I'm sorry. That's the idea of it being coordinated. I mean, it just happened to get, yes, Elon's attention, but otherwise it was just a bunch of random internet retards like myself talking about this, sharing it out, and everything of the sort. Coordinated? Oh my, please. You give us too much credit. I mean, it's basically like a bunch of chimps throwing shit at the wall. A coordinated campaign of harassment, and that sucks. But it does get me closer to the question of what happens when you get harassed. Moving on to the central thesis of her talk, Belair then declared, so first of all, just as a spoiler, what happens when you get harassed is it suck? Bounding, you need to proofread your shit.
Definitely.
I can't, dude. I get it. You guys want to be quick on the whatever, but take at least a moment to spell check and check for these kind of run-on sentences and everything. Jesus. If I had to rate the experience 1.5 stars, probably it's not the best. Oh, aren't you being cheeky? More specifically, what happened during all of this, if I can kind of dig down into this review, is that I feel like my brain skipped. We lost our voice, she told the crowd. We didn't just lose our voice as a collective, we lost our voice individually. People on our team were either hounded off social media or attacked so consistently that it became frustrating to use. It sucks, doesn't it? Oh, it so sucks. It so sucks. Maybe you shouldn't do it either, huh? Anyways. Became frustrating to use. It's not enjoyable to hop on anywhere and get that wave of hate. So then within Sweet Baby, beyond what we do for work, there are authors, comic book creators, tabletop RPG creators, game designers, and people who have other work they want to share with the world that they should be allowed to share with the world. But just for existing within our company, just for working on the games they do, they were attacked. Even contractors, people who literally work with us for a spot check a week or a couple of months. But there was really nothing we could do. And as silly as it is, and as little as I miss the current Twitter, I know you guys still haven't reactivated. Come on, nut up or shut up. As little as I regret leaving it, the loss of frivolity and frankly dumb bullshit is actually a little soupcon of dehumanization. I don't know. Bella argued, and don't get me wrong, people did defend us, some very, very great folks, often writers and game devs, people we had worked with, people we had not worked with, who could see this thing for what it was. But while I appreciate the defense and the team appreciated it so much, that support is still really hard to feel in the panic of the moment. I mean, again, you had a bunch of videos of you at other conferences and stuff like that saying some insane bullshit.
The most insane.
I know I could say the lack of awareness, but I know what you're doing and I don't like it. And that's why we talk about this shit. And so instead, I felt really guilty. I felt responsible. Like I felt bad. Not for doing the job that I love, but for building a space that was meant to be protective and creative for a bunch of people and having it turn into something that, through no fault of our own, saw my friends, loved ones, colleagues, and co-workers viciously, brutally hurt. Oh no, people said words on the internet. How dare they?
You hurt my feelings.
You hurt my fifis. I felt bad for making a company at all, she lamented. I felt bad for believing in it and for speaking on it. People would come up to me, especially at events like GDC, and they would very kindly tell me that they're inspired by me or by us and our collective strengths, resilience, and I would say, thank you so much. But deeply, I would feel very ashamed, which intellectually I know is wrong, right? We are doing something good. We are writers and designers of tremendous skill and tremendous experience, and we never censored anything, nor have we ever I don't expect you to tell the actual fucking truth. For all we know, yes, you have censored. You have you have potentially silenced creators, told creators that they had to change something because it needs to fit a current year standard, the modern audience, right? That's the big word, the modern audience. So, curious, were you the ones that decided to throw in a bunch of minorities into something like God of War Ragnarok, which is dealing with Norse mythology? And recently there was a mod on Nexus that was correcting some of that, but Nexus, being the bunch of cucks that they are yet again, deleted that mod. How dare they have historical accuracy to North gods and stuff. Or just accuracy to stories and stuff like that, to their land of origin.
Not having a black samurai.
Or that. I know, right? We are doing something good. We are writers, designers, tremendous skill and external experience, whatever, never censored. Nor have we ever wanted to. Doubt, pressing X to doubt. Frankly, if you really want my opinion, I doubt we're actually getting it. I think largely games could be hornier. Okay. I think they should be darker. I think they should be stranger.
I think they should be accurate.
Well, I mean, if you are building off of a game with already a current lore and everything,
Right.
yes, you should stay with it. Stay with the consistency and everything of that lore. You should not, you should honor what came before it and not just shit on it completely. Oh God, I'm trying to remember the game too. And if you want, lady, if you want strange, look up a game reviewed by Accursed Farms. Because man, this game was weird. This was a weird freaking game. I don't remember the name of it at the moment, but I'm going to his videos really quick. Thankfully he takes a while to put stuff out, so it should be quick to find. Let's see here. Where is it? I know it came sometime after his Deus Ex reviews. Yeah, there it is. Armed and Delirious. If you want a weird game, there you go. Armed and Delirious, lady. I don't think it gets weirder than that. And there are plenty of dark freaking like horror tier games and whatnot. So I think we're good. Hornier, on the other hand, look at the Steam curator groups right now, or pages of all the indie games that have gone on there as of late. Whew! I think they've gotten plenty horny. I think we have enough. At the core, I mean, when there's a game that was it that they want to have sex with Hitler, I think you're getting pretty crazy horny over there. At the core of my approach here, and the approach we take as a company, I genuinely believe that representation is not censorship; it is innovation. But diversity in narrative makes things more intense. What? What are you talking about, lady? It can make it more visceral and more real. What? It doesn't have to always make something more wholesome or softer. So diversity does not make things wholesome? Well, thank you for... No. I really do believe that the opening up to new perspectives by getting folk in the room, we actually push more boundaries and we get more real. Well, what happens when you get...
Is just...
Well, this is... So, like, it's either going over this article or we could have been listening to her shrilly tell us this. Which would you have preferred?
I don't know. I want to jump off a cliff regardless.
Fair enough. We actually push boundaries, get more real. But what happens when you get harassed is that it doesn't matter what you believe. What's also frustrating is that it doesn't matter what they believe either, because so much of this campaign is just misinformation. She is projecting so hard. It's assumptions and lies about who we are, what we do, and what we want. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Turning to the audience, Belair asserted that's the other thing that happens, right? They take away your power in some ways, but they also ascribe to you this enormous power. They will claim that you are rich, that you are backed by shadowy cabals, by government orgs, listed Belair of the various criticisms that's been leveled towards SweetbabyInc. They claim you have the ability to force their favorite studios to bend to your whim rather than the truth, which is that studios and teams hire us to make stories better, not worker, but actually better. I don't agree that there's probably a shred of truth there that they do hire them. But that's for PR. That's for, like I've already been saying throughout this is for for their government checks from the game companies. The game companies hire you on so they can say they are encouraging DEI and ESG messaging. That's the reason why they'd come to you specifically. And then there are some that are probably coming to them because they do believe in their fucking psychotic message. And believe me, when this first started, I was so worried that studios would stop working with us. She continued, I worried we seemed too toxic. I worried we seemed too dangerous, too beleaguered, too much of a risk to work with. You should be considered that, yes. But that is not what happened. What happened was that, at least privately, every team we worked with was quite supportive. The external silence, I'll say, was deafening at times and also frustrating, but such is the way of corporate. And it was still nice fundamentally to realize that studio teams and individuals still wanted us around and still saw our value, which I will say, though, is also a very disorienting experience. Inching ever closer to her final thoughts, Belair then explained, because what happens when you get harassed is that you realize that most of it is just noise and that nothing functionally or fundamentally changes. People say, I'm so sorry for what you're dealing with, but could I get that script on Monday? And you say, yeah, it sucks. Anyway, I'll get that to you on Monday, because there is no time off. There is no stop in the video game production. You can monetize a hate video, but there is no hazard pay for harassment. Again, you already said you switched things off. You turned off social media, all that crap. What are you crying about then? And we are not, despite what you may have heard. So moneyed that we can just take a break or take a vacation and chill. So by day we worked, and meanwhile, all around us, the noise continued. Belair's story went on. This is here because I remember one evening I was coming home and I was like, all right, I've dealt with too much. I'm just going to relax by going to the Yakuza subreddit, which I have to say 99% of the time is a wonderful space. It's very funny and the people are pretty nice, but not even thinking. I scrolled past a joke about SweetbabyInc. And the thing is, in service of this great subreddit, it was actually well-intentioned. It was not a joke intended to make fun of us. It was intended to make fun of the campaign. Oh, so the Yakuza Reddit's cucked as fuck. Oh, no shit. I wouldn't have suspected that on a Reddit of all places. But the strangeness of it all, of it being everywhere, of it feeling inescapable, but meaning nothing in my day-to-day, was too utterly bizarre and beyond just having to mute a wonderful, wonderful safe place for myself. I also wanted to quit. I wanted to leave the company. I wanted to do something else. We almost had it, boys. We almost had her. I'll tell you that running a self-funded business in a very volatile industry, we can make it more volatile if you like. That's what I've been pushing for. Is very hard on a good day, especially when you do something with us. The CEO wound down, and it's hard, let alone when Elon Musk is crawling bleary-eyed out of his money pit to tell us that we deserve to go broke. Did he really? It's a disaster. But what happens when you get harassed is also that you realize you have is each other. And you can maybe call it trauma bonding, but when there are no prizes, no funds, and no vacations as compensation, and the only thing you have on your plate is suddenly your widely derided work, you also start to make more space for each other. You start to recognize that the work will sometimes feel thankless, but that you still love it, Belair described of her experience, and you love it, fortunately or unfortunately, because you get to do it together as a team. And for us, that means we're doing it as SweetbabyInc. What happens when you get harassed is that you forget who you are. What? But when you remember, we are writers, storytellers, narrative designers, creative. You are not creative. You are parasites leeching off of actual creative people doing something that they passionately love. Maybe. Some of them are probably there because they're also just as creatively bankrupt as you freaking psychos. So, but regardless of that, there are those that are there wanting to see their vision, what they've dreamt for a long time and what have you put on the screen, put on into the hands of people that are wanting to play their games, enjoy their stories, see their gameplay, whatever that they've cooked up for people to check out. You have latched on and you have told these people what you have to do to reach the modern audience, how you have to have people perceived in this game, even though all they're doing is writing characters from either their own experience or how they perceive the world, or just in a very general sense. They aren't putting attitudes or anything that maybe seems stereotypical or whatever. They're just creating. That's all they're doing. But you have to come in there. You have to come in there and nitpick or twist it, turn it to make it your vision, not theirs anymore. You remove their vision from the table completely. That's why I have hated focus groups for a long goddamn time, because it's not the creator doing what they think they believe is what needs to be on screen. And you can say, hey, yes, focus groups help save movies or whatever, but you know what? At the end of the day, are you getting the actual artistic expression of that individual? No. But then, they're already doing a focus group, so they already probably don't care. But is that at the end of the creative or the big company that they got themselves latched onto because they're retards? I don't know. But regardless. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah. She said as her time on stage drew to close, we love it so much, in fact, that we'll do it even through the worst months of our lives, because our lives ultimately are about stories.
Why does she keep calling herself a creative?
That's how she sees herself.
Creating what?
That's been my question the whole time too.
Cool. Just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So yeah, I think this kind of is definitely the big update when it comes to hearing from, especially from the horse's mouth of Sweet Baby Inc. A lot of the drama that's gone on, their perception of it, her perception of it. So, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of sympathy. They set these rules. They're living by them. They push them. They go by it. Sorry. When I first start seeing, people legitimately of your side, actually, maybe calling a ceasefire, calling a truce, or chilling shit out, whatever that may be. And it need to be something massive. Maybe then we could all start chilling out just a little bit, but it has to first come from the side that really kicked this shit off. And that wasn't us. Certainly wasn't me. All I saw was the immediate attack on gamers of gamers don't need to be your audience and gamers are dead. So maybe once you guys start kind of rolling back a bit, maybe.
Probably not.
I'll still be questioning on whether or not you're being legitimate and whether or not, this is genuine and not just because maybe the tides are turning and you're trying to protect your own ass.
Probably not genuine.
No, most likely not. You got any final thoughts on this one, Hitman?
She just needs to go away, man. Like, that's the most painful thing I've ever had to sit through. Just not because you read it, but just everything that she's saying. Yeah. And she's not a creative.
I wish Chiefster would have been on for this because I think it might have ticked him off a bit hearing some of the bullshit.
I felt the heat coming through the mic, so I wonder if he did hear you.
Oh God, yeah. So I I've said all I've had to say on it, you know, like, and I agree with you too. She has to go away. Sweet Baby Inc. needs to go away. Yes, Elon Musk is right. You have to go broke. More companies like this, we don't need more. We need less, even less. We don't need them at all. They need to go away. So, you know, gaming needs to heal. And you are part of the problem. You're not part of the solution. So,
yeah.
Whew.
They just won't go. They're like leeches, man. They're parasites. They won't go away.
Nope. So that's the Sweet Baby Inc. update.
I was really hoping the update would be that they've gone bankrupt. They're going away.
Nope, they've just slightly retooled and everything like that. They're still sticking around. They're still hanging around. They're gonna be that cancerous polyp on the anus of society. Like the thing that's how that was said. I love Red Dwarf.
They're like their motto is heck no, we won't go.
I mean, pretty much. Like they're gonna be trying to
remind me of the environmentalist protesters.
Oh God, yeah.
Just sit in front of the street, and then you have people who like to play Doom just barreling through with their truck.
And super glue their hands to the pavement and shit. Yeah. Oh Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
I don't know. My Tesla the autopilot just ran over.
It just suddenly kicked on. I don't know what to say. Elon, you gotta talk to Elon about this. This was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
drive a bulldozer to work.
Exactly. Ooh, yeah. Get that old bulldozer going, you know.
Or one of those old 70 Chevys that just burn oil after switching gears.
You know what? Sometimes
smell gasoline in the morning.
You know, and I think sometimes you just need to send some mail. Just send some mail to the right places.
Creative. I'm gonna start calling myself a creative.
Oh, sorry. They're the cancerous pull-up on the anus of humanity. That's what they are. All right, let me hit.
Or a dude.
Let's go back a bit. Let's hit the chat. See, Meteor Advocate Timona said to be known without being good at it. I think that was that. I also dream of being a football player, but I never was good at it or put effort into it. So not gonna happen. She is a moocher. Yeah, 100%. I'm fully convinced of. Nerdy Neo says, did you hear that Nexus is doing it again where they banned mods of God of War Ragnarok that turned the black character back to white? I didn't even see this comment, but I brought it up. Yep, I heard about it. Goddamn Nexus. They just have to keep being dingleberries. Meteor Advocate Tomo says, quote, make your marketing team terrified. That was it. Yes. Her words, no conspiracy. That's right. Make your marketing team terrified. But where would the sun, anger towards something like Sweet Baby and herself come from? I mean, it must be that silly AI stuff, right? That's what it was. We were all deceived by deceptive AI. Brandon Trent says, speaking of video games, apparently Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles Remaster is coming next year around January 2025 to PC and other new consoles. Yeah, I heard about that. I did. Angry Canadian tagged me in a post about it, and I had seen it just before he did so. I mean, it's pretty cool. Aspire's doing it. My only like, I don't know, nitpick was like, why would you make the extra unlockable characters or whatever? Why would you make it a Tusken, a Weequay, a loader droid, and I think a battle droid? And I'm just like, but why? Like, you have so many Jedi of the time of that era. Pick any of them. Or since like it is, you do. I mean, hell, they have it where you do unlock in the original game, you could unlock I think it was Captain Panaka and Padme. So why not characters like them, like Jango Fett, or since you can unlock Darth Maul, unlock Sidious, bring in a young Count Dooku. I don't know. Like, you could have added so many other characters than what they chose for that. It's like, what? Nerdy Neo says, yep, it's coming back to all platforms, but it's by Aspire, so who knows if it will be any good. The original game wasn't great from what I hear, so I don't have high hopes. I've been seeing that around too. I played the original game. I remember having a lot of fun. Some of the platforming, if I remember right, was kind of awkward at times, but I mean, me and my brother played through it and we had fun. I think I played as Qui-Gon, he played as Plo Koon. And we had fun. It was I mean, I remember having fun with it. So, and Aspire, they really are like touch and go. Because Spartacus gifted me the Bounty Hunter game, and once I realized, oh, they optimized it for mouse and keyboard, and I started playing like that, such a better experience. But I mean, for as far as I could tell, game ran smoothly. Yes, I know about the achievement that was borked originally on Xbox, I believe. I haven't looked into seeing if they've corrected that. I think they did by removing it, because it was like one of those 100% like, oh, you've done everything in the game, here's that final achievement. Because it's kind of, that's based off of like PlayStation with their platinum achievements, and I think that's kind of the same. It's supposed to be kind of like that same thing. So I don't know the end results on that one, but I mean, for the most part, like, that was pretty solid. I just know they really made a key bumble with the Battlefront collection. That was a real oof. And yeah, like me, Timon said, no receipts, no threats. Nerdy Neo, viral, it's not, coordinated. Viral does not mean coordinated, folks. Come on. But hey, that's all they just have to put that. They all they had to do is say it. All they had to do is put it out there, and they've got people hooked. Meter Advocate Timon says the modern audience doesn't exist. It exists somewhere, because otherwise they wouldn't be still staying quite as propped up as they are. Because, like, to Hitman's point, without the money, without it, at least some of it coming in, there wouldn't be an initiative to keep going. Yes, they have their, outside sources, but even the outside investors and stuff like that, even government groups, are going to have to see an initial, at some point, a return. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of I'm being flippant with this, because, like, I can also see it's like where, like, again, Hitman, you're pointing out, they just want to see it burn. They'll burn money. They don't care. It's God. I guess the point is that there is something of an audience that they are getting out of this. It's just, it's not what they want it to be, though. They want more.
Yeah.
They want more people sucking this slop up. Nerdy Neo says, pretty sure there are 3 Sex with Hitler games. Okay, so that was the thing. Like, I was also trying to be very careful with what I said, because I didn't want to sound like it being me, yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there are, like, there's a bunch of those. There's a bunch of those and a bunch of other like freaking hentai games and whatnot. There's a oh my god, like Steam, what the hell? Like I don't know if they've just like gone too far tilt or what, but it's gotten pretty wild on there. Let's see. Brandon Tress says, don't know if you guys are animated movie fans, but have you seen the Wild Robot from DreamWorks? No. I've heard about it though, but I haven't seen it myself. Like it is, I barely check out movies, like unless it's like it happens to be something like Godzilla, it'll get my attention. But otherwise, no, I can't say that I have heard too much about stuff. I'm barely trying to keep up with the gaming news as it is. Timona says still doesn't exist. Nerdy Neo says, say what you will about Reddit, but I just my 10 years on there a couple of days ago and have had almost nothing but good experiences as long as I keep clear of politics on there. I mean, that's always like the golden rule, right? You know, you don't talk religion, politics, and I want to say there's a third one in that usual routine, but I mean, I've come to see that tactic more as the one side silences the other, so you don't say anything while they keep talking about their shit freely and openly. Brandon Trent says everybody, children, adults, and families, has said The Wild Robot is great and emotional movie that will leave you speechless like other animated movies, Iron Giant and Treasure Planet. All good to hear. They're kind of responding to each other. Nerdy Neo says, I think you could tell one of his Optimus robots to remove those Just Stop Oil protesters. What? That'd be cool. Have Optimus Prime go out and remove those oil protesters.
My form.
Brendan Trent says, unpopular opinion, but earlier 2D animated movies from DreamWorks like Prince of Egypt and The Road to El Dorado are better than some of Disney's live action remakes. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion, sir. In fact, I'm sure you'd find plenty of people that would agree with you on that. Because there's a lot of like distaste people have with the Disney live action remakes. At least from what I've seen, like there has not been a lot of love for those. At least especially like Lion King and stuff. Like people especially just much prefer the original animated Lion King and everything. So yeah. I don't think you're alone there, sir. Not at all. Okay. You know what? I really should have brought like a palate cleanser of some kind. I am sorry. Give me a moment here as I kind of scour really quick. Because I want to say I've seen something out there. Oh, well, we can, let's see. Do we have anything here? No, let's see. Have you checked? Oh, wait, you probably don't have it. Have you checked out the Dragon Ball Daima?
Is that the trailer I sent you or no?
You sent me a trailer?
Oh, no, the Dragon Ball, that's a new game that's coming out.
Oh, the Sparking Zero?
Yeah.
I've bought that game.
You officially bought it? Is it out yet?
I got it early and I did a stream of it. So did you ever play the Budokai Tenkaichi games back in the day?
Yeah, possibly, if I remember correct, where he flew on Nimbus. Or no?
I mean, I think there's been a couple of games where they let you do that as Goku. But like the Budokai Tenkaichi games especially was where they opened up for like the big arena fights. So like you had a big section of area of particular maps to fight on. And Sparking Zero, Spark is because in Japan that was what they were initially called, was Sparking. It was part of the title. And for the West is when they called it Budokai Tenkaichi. Tenkaichi, or that's how I pronounce this Tenkaichi. Because it's easier for me. But no, like I'd have to say like the visuals are very impressive for it. I think it looks great. Here, let me I thought I at least I think so. I think like especially like for when they do the early levels and everything, the early story, it's the visuals very much harken to old school kind of Toriyama's original drawings and stuff like that. So let me get, because I first initially started it and I really borked it, but I just do. But no, here's some me fighting giant monkey Vegeta. The game is pretty tough. Like it definitely, like you want to like kind of do a little bit of practicing, a little bit of leveling up with in story. I'm pretty sure that's helped the leveling up, because some of these fights can get, even early on, are pretty tough, and you get to see Vegeta towering over you quite often. So let me get to like, because I even redid some of the fights. Here, let me fighting Raditz. Like I said, I really do dig the visuals of the game. I think a lot of them look pretty solid. I like the style. The maps are huge. Black Red saying, I heard the Great Ape Vegeta fight, it was really easy. I mean, if you get, once you know that you have to basically melee fight the shit out of them, yeah, you start to understand that, yeah, you could topple them. You just have to first know that, and kind of get past the idea of him being the giant monkey or worrying about that. But like it's very fast. You can do, and they've really set it up to be, in the fights, pretty interactive, in that like they can counter just as well as you can counter. You have to be very quick about it. I haven't done any online fights yet, so I'd be curious to see how that'll play out. And also, freaking Raccoon with his freaking jacked neck. Once it shows it, because like it is, you can you go through the different stories, and you have different characters that you get to play through, and through the stories you will also have like what if scenarios that you can play through and do differently throughout the game. And sometimes you have to beat the stage first and go back and see what those objectives are. So I think that's kind of a cool element to it. Makes you want to replay the older stages, so you can get those different what ifs. Yeah, freaking Raccoon. He has like hang on. There it is. That freaking tweaked out jacked neck, dude. Damn, Black Red. I saw Biggles really struggling with it. Not surprised. I saw the DM group. You were just roasting him like crazy. It was pretty funny, dude. But no, but otherwise, like I said, I think the game is very like, you can see me taking a screenshot of Riku's jacked neck there. But the cool thing is like it does feel very much like you can imagine being just like playing as the characters and stuff. You get to you're really zipping around. You have to be a little more conscious of sometimes your key use and stuff like that. Not as heavily, I would say, as maybe like Dragon Ball Xenoverse with the stamina bar and everything. But because they really do let you feel pretty powerful in this game, getting to do a lot of different stuff, a lot of switch arounds, a lot of teleportation, getting around the enemies, and everything like that. And like I said, the combat especially just feels so fast, and you can have some pretty intense fights with the CPU. And the thing is that if you do want to do like those what ifs, you have to keep it to the default setting. And that's where I say, go through the training and everything, get to know the different buttons, get to know what all the move sets are, or at least some of the basic move sets, because that alone will certainly help out, especially the different dodges, the different parries and everything. So, I've also been playing a little bit off stream as well. I was kind of doing some practicing, and I was kind of going through one of the what ifs, which is basically like what if Vegeta and Goku teamed up to fight Frieza, who comes to Earth, and if Goku didn't die when he fought Raditz. So they're doing some decently interesting what ifs. I kind of wish they would be more cooked in to like a permanent storyline, like it goes all the way through to, the end of Z sort of thing. But they only like push it to like a certain point, which I guess is fine enough. But I would certainly like to see them expanded upon to go deeper throughout it, and everything like that. So far, I give a strong recommend. I still need to play more. But yeah, I mean, if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, I'd certainly say it's pretty fun. Damn, Black Red. I think he's a first time gamer. I mean, I watched his one of his streams. It looked like he's getting good at it. So, he's getting up there. Getting there, he's still good. He's practicing. That stuff. Nerdy Neo saying, did you not see Elon's unveiling of his Optimus robots this week? I did. We talked about it on the weekend pregame. Hitman, have you seen that? Hitman? Hello? Is he hello? I can hear his. Are you involved on the game? Are you watching your damn football game? I know. That's that. Nerdy Neo Filter both bought and played a brand new game. I know. Crazy, ain't it? Well, that's why I even titled this when I did the stream. I was like, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Someone has possessed this channel. And that was the title of the stream. Because the shock and awe of me buying and playing a brand new game, huh? I mean, I did play Helldivers. It was kind of newish when I got to it, but not as new as this, for sure. This has been the newest of the new. Hitman, are you there? Hitman, hello?
My mics. Can you hear me?
Now I can, and I was hearing you shuffling around a bit before. Or like your mic was on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to try something. Hold on.
Okay. But yeah, further to the point, I did buy a brand new spanking game, and like it is, I have a soft spot for Dragon Ball. I always have, always will. It's that franchise that just kind of gets me every now and then.
Is it a pre-order? Or is it out?
It's out now. It's out now. Yeah.
How many hours have you played it?
Let me look at my Steam really quick. I'm gonna play more of it on stream, but I'm between it and Vampire the Masquerade, so I want to play both, but let's see here. So far I've sunk 8 hours into it.
It's not enough.
I know. I plan on playing more of it. Because now that I'm back at work, I can't play as much as I've wanted to. I was my 2 days off on top of it. I was sick and I just was not feeling it. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I feel that. Like you don't want to do anything.
Absolutely. So did you see Elon Musk's unveiling of Optimus, his robots?
I felt like I was an iRobot.
So I
saw just a brief thing. I thought it was a fake video at first, but it wasn't.
Yeah. So hang on, let me see if I can. I'm trying to. Okay, so yeah, like this was something else because like it's only like I don't know if we had it initially, but Static suddenly got it, and it was just like, what the fuck is going on here? And yeah, so Elon Musk recently unveiled through Tesla and everything.
Arms and legs instead of a robot with wheels. And we've made a lot of progress.
I mean, this isn't too far from what the Japanese have been doing too.
And
they've been doing.
We started it with someone in a robot suit.
What's the point?
Sort of down, and then we
of making these robots
automatically year after year.
I mean,
like
so
he goes around saying that AI is dangerous and everything. That this is literally iRobot.
Yeah, that's what I said on the weekend pregame as well. Was like, isn't this the same guy that has been like doomsaying the idea of AI and stuff like that? Like, how is it now? There's like, oh, suddenly now it's good.
Right.
This is like, God, I see so many problems with this.
We had a movie about this. It was iRobot. There's nobody.
That's very science fiction-y, fantasy almost. Because I'm sorry, like the robots are going to be doing what they are programmed to do. The idea of self-sentient or the sentience and stuff like that is very human forced onto. Is forced. I mean, human beings are going to try and force personalities on these robots that they're going to end up probably, basically self-destructing or, this like hard locking and their wires are going to get fried because people are trying to impress all these emotions upon it when it's not capable of it with outside of its programming. And I think it's such a fantasy idea that they go beyond that. Other than if it was something cooked into them to rebel. Otherwise,
I think everyone's going to want
so
their Optimus buddy.
I look at this in a very particular way. I look at this as human beings' strength so much further and further away from the natural world. I mean, I said this on the weekend pregame as well. I'm just as guilty that I am, here I am sitting at my computer surrounded by 4 monitors. My Switch console, I've got my phone in front of me. Even though I'm not using it, I've still got it. I've got a laptop off to the side. I am just as guilty of, straying far from the idea of the natural world. But I mean, like, it gets scary as we continue to go down this path of just removing ourselves so far from anything natural. Like, this is just coming to more. We're basically trying to create artificial life through these things. And like I said, some people are going to drive themselves up a wall just trying to impress upon human personalities on these things. But it just, like, to me, with all the things going on, I don't think this is what is needed for humanity. If anything, I think more than anything, we need to step away from the unnatural world that we've created, that we've allowed to, proliferate throughout the world through, through the different ideologies that are out there, for sure. That we need to really kind of step back and somehow reground ourselves to what we are. Because at the end of the day, yes, we are slightly more evolved, but we are at the end of the day still beasts. We are still animals. We are, we are still creatures of certain habits. We are creatures of we're just that. We are creatures. And I don't think we've hit that level of, I don't know if I'd want to say advancement or another evolution or something, to where this is going to be the right path. And if anything, I just see this also as just more, more more things for exploitative nature of governments, of corporations and stuff like that. It's not going to best serve people. That's for sure. And you can look at past things of, oh, well, this happened and we recuperated, but is this do we recuperate from this? Do we, I don't think this is going to be it. And depending on where this gets taken to, what level it gets taken to with these robots, I mean, you have some places out there where the thing that they need to do is certainly not bring in hordes of foreigners, certainly not introduce the idea of sex robots and stuff like that. It's to, go back to monkey and, like I said, back to nature. People need to go back to what's natural, positive monogamous relationships, procreating, and the things that are part of the building blocks of a human society, of a functioning human society. This is just going to add to the dysfunction. At least I could just be the doomsayer or whatever. I feel like I articulated this so much better on the weekend pregame. But yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Hitman. I don't know how you're looking at this, what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. So by all means,
I think it's interesting. Like I said, this is the guy that will sit here on national television and talk about how he's terrified of AI. He's terrified of what it can become and how and essentially, it can take on a form of itself, and then he's out here making robots. So
yeah,
is it
robots and self-driving cars and stuff that barely work themselves? But hey,
so again, like, is it going to be a robot? No, I mean, in a joking way, but it had robots, and AI is dangerous. I mean, I agree with him that it's dangerous. I think it's, but this is just like kind of like, I don't know, like Tony Stark in a way, like, making stuff for good, but then it could be exploited for evil. But I don't know if it's really being made for good. I don't know. This is crazy. We live in a day where, we watched all these movies about robots and now here we are making robots.
Oh, like I said on the weekend pregame, our reality is too fake and gay to get anything really insane and crazy like Terminators and stuff like that. we're gonna get the very lame version of that, if
or
any.
that's well, but here's the thing. That's at least what we're seeing, right? Is the
beginnings,
a very
right?
a pacifist version of it. But what can they do behind closed doors? Can they make a Terminator? Can they try to weaponize it? And then what happens with AI? Does AI take over? And then we've got, are we ever going to be in a world of Terminator? Probably not. But again, like, what if they, what if they're making these things, and what happens if AI takes over?
Yeah. I mean, isn't it kind of funny though that you have the guy that's from Africa creating basically robotic slaves?
I mean,
oh, but no, it's your humanoid friend. I mean, this is like also the other thing you see.
But you're making your humanoid friend
It's like
your sandwich.
I mean, this thing's basically supposed to cook and clean and everything. Yeah. Even collect your mail.
It's very interesting though. It's like, what's going to happen to our jobs? Or are humans going to be able to?
Well, and that's just it. Like, there are probably people out there that are going to think, oh, then we're going to be on a universal basic income, and we're all going to, people again, they're socialist, commie fucking lifestyles that they think they're going to live. That's not going to happen, folks. If anything, they're going to find new ways of labor or ways to, exploit you or whatever. We're not going to be in some fucking happy hunky-dory situation here. Yes.
This is literally going to be Planet of the Apes, but with robots.
It was, look at automation one way or another. Yes, is coming to whatever function of work that they can make it happen. They started with the manufacturing jobs, and they've just been going wild ever since. So this is just going to be another part of it. And you can't tell me that these plans won't get out to some other corporation or some government,
or he's going to sell them to them.
Or he's going to sell them, yeah.
Warmongering.
I don't know. It's weird. It's creepy.
It happened in Iron Man, so it doesn't mean that it can't happen.
I mean, that's just it. Like,
what's the whole? I'm not a predictive programmer, right? I don't believe in predictive programming or the concept where like the government release movies for future events to come, right? I don't necessarily buy into that, but I think it's interesting that we watch, like Iron Man, very popular movie. Tony Stark is, supposed to be a philanthropist, humanitarian that sells his technology, or somebody gets a hold of his technology and weaponizes it and whatnot. He creates weapons.
I mean,
right?
that's gonna be my next point. Is like, what's to stop like some radical third world government getting their hands on these schematics, are able to build basic bitch versions of it or whatever, but use them as working soldiers,
right?
What do you do then? All right, so now we've got another new form of warfare. I guess, hey, we do go to Terminator tier shit or the Matrix,
That's why I was like, well, we get
droids lives matter. Droids lives.
Well, no, and then what's going to happen is, we sat here and we were so mad that we watched an episode of Mandalorian where the droids were in a bar. That's what's coming.
God,
the same droids that just walked out on stage will be the same droids that walk into a bar.
Yeah,
and they have feelings. We sit here, we make fun of Filoni talking about how lightsaber crystals have feelings, and they pick their master, and they're sentient beings. But we got robots here. They will literally say, robots' lives matter.
Not a far off thing. It's gonna be their next little thing that they're gonna try and fight for rights for.
They're gonna say, then what's gonna come next is they're like, this robot just had a baby.
Oh God, you're not wrong.
So absolutely just insane. But yeah, I just don't. To what end? I guess I don't understand. That's what's scary, man. Like whether Elon Musk is the smartest man on the planet, I don't know if he is, but he's definitely the richest. And to sit here and I mean, this dude is smart, and I think when he's genuinely talking about AI, I sense a sense. I pick up a sense of fear, right? Or he knows something that we don't know, right? But then he does this. Now, do these robots have anything to do with AI? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know that, but I would assume there has to be some
far
type
off
of,
are how
right,
far off are they
right,
from that sort of thing?
right.
Yeah.
There has to be something driving this robot for some type of intelligence. Really, what this comes down to is, you know, I don't know, the God complex. Like I don't know.
I mean, that is something to almost considers, like, you know, how far, that's kind of my point, was like, how far are we straying from the natural world? How far could we come to basically potentially, if, you know, with the idea of God existing, do we piss off God?
Right.
Trying to create life outside of the original design.
Right.
I mean, humanity keeps trying to play God in some way. What will be the thing that slaps us back down? And will it be a final event, or will it be, you know, a learning event? I don't know. Will it happen at all? Or will we just
I mean, at the end of the day, we're messing
ourselves with these things? I don't know.
Well, we're messing with powers that we, you know, or things that we shouldn't be messing with, and creating a robot. I don't know. You bring a good point. Like, you know, you can't. There's only one person. It's not even a person. There's one. God's the one who created life, right? And to sit here and try to play the God, you know, to play God and create, like, you know, I think it's not going to be good. I think you'll find out that, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's all very interesting, and I would caution not to play with this stuff, because I think you're playing with fire.
I agree.
So,
well, and like it is though, these things are costing well into the $30,000-$50,000 marker. Your average person certainly isn't going to be getting these, but all it takes is that one big corporation to buy enough of them.
BlackRock,
you know, and suddenly people start getting replaced real fast. I mean, automation is coming for a lot of jobs.
Think about it. That, I mean, you know, it was man.
And not everyone is suited for, you know, tech work. Not everyone is suited for.
But listen to the assembly line. You know, it was like Ford, but the assembly line then would go in on, you know, they were working day in, day out, and now cars are made by machines. The assembly line was replaced by man, or man was replaced by a robot. You know, so. It's
something
pretty scary, man, because you're like, oh man, like they're never gonna replace humans. They'll never do that. You can't, like, you know, you can't do that. And
I mean, I do believe that there is something that requires a human touch one way or another, in my opinion. Like
a fighter pilot,
but I look at things of like the arts and stuff like that. Yes, you could have things that replicate for sure, but I think certain things
teach human instinct.
No,
you can't teach discernment. You can't teach, you know, I mean, why hasn't anybody ever been able to replicate a human without a male and a female?
Right. And they've certainly been trying to do that. They've been trying to.
But that's what it comes down to. You're trying to play God. Government tries to play God, and I mean that's the whole. They've removed the father. Like, we've talked about this, man. They've removed the father from the family. They've dismantled the nuclear family. Government has become the one that provides. And by doing that, they have risen to this level of a god, because people rely on the government. They are their own god. Now, is this have anything to do with Elon? I don't know. Is Elon trying to play God? I don't know. I just the thing that bothers me the most is the fact that you are so like you claim to be so terrified of AI, and you play this. I'll just say, like, you seem terrified of AI, and you seem to know things that the average person doesn't know, and that's fine because you're smart. But then why are you doing this? Because I'm not smart enough to know, like, how are these? What's operating these robots? Is it artificial intelligence? Is it a program? Like, can the program take over itself, and then we just have like?
Can they be hacked? Like people's
vacuums? Can they be hacked by China?
Like
China is the. I mean, is Elon Musk working for China? Is Elon Musk Chinese? Is China gonna are they hackable? It's like, and how many of these are you gonna make? Are you gonna create are you gonna try to create a utopia of robots and humans? Is that how America falls?
No, that's a good point about the Chinese hacking and stuff like that. I didn't consider that.
For sure.
At least I don't think I did.
How
I don't know if you brought it up.
this is a conspiracy that just I was thinking about. But like, let's say China does acquire Ubisoft, and let's just say that all of our Xboxes and PlayStations come from China, and I don't know, our TVs come from China. What if they are putting cameras in our computers or our TVs, and then they take over Ubisoft? It's a conspiracy, but I'm just
all laptops come with a webcam, so
they do. And why is China's buying up all of our farmland?
Oh God!
Like you think I'm crazy, but it's like, what if?
It's happening.
What if he's in bed with China? How did he acquire $300 billion? How did he acquire $300 billion? Like, I have no facts to back up these claims. They're not substantiated. They're just claims. But China hates America. Everybody hates America.
That's why they fund DEI and ESG initiatives.
For sure. But like, you think it's just? I mean, this happened. I mean,
weak in our country.
They're unrelated. Elon and China is unrelated. But I now think it's interesting that China, and we don't know if China will, but Ubisoft's may be up for buying. Who's going to buy it? Who has the money to buy it?
Yep.
Not the French. The French are the ones who are selling it. Garamond brothers are the one, but who's going to buy it? Who has enough money to buy it? Is Elon going to buy it?
Right there.
Is Apple going to buy it? Is Bungie going to buy it? Is 343 going to buy it? Is Blizzard going to buy it? Is Bethesda going to buy it? No,
343 is renamed a Halo company or whatever.
Yeah, they just picked up. Yeah, it was 343 just picked. That's another thing I want to talk about next show because I don't know if it's true, but anyway. So like I don't know, man. This is
it's crazy.
What if these robots? Someone puts guns in these robots' hands?
Well, I saw some wacky third world country gets their hands on these.
What if these robots become the new Mark V, the new Mark 6? Mark 8, I don't know how many suits Iron Man had.
Whatever.
I understand the purpose.
I know what
you're saying. Because you just want to be cool. Like, what is the point?
I don't know what the point is.
What controls your car? Like the Teslas, they're all not. Like my brother has one. It has autopilot. You have to pay for it, by the way. But who controls it? You're gonna put your life in a. I mean,
or there's Starlink, probably, right? It's probably an old.
Yeah, but who told me Elon? Like, how did Elon get that satellite? Just on his own?
His SpaceX program. His SpaceX program probably.
Yeah, but who's funding it? These are the questions I've never asked. Who's funding this?
Our government.
He's coming from.
He's very good at. He's gotten nothing but government bonds and grants and shit like that.
But he's South African. You tell me that this
apparently
poor. This dude was piss poor. Like, I'm just saying, like, you're telling me the United States government is giving this money?
I think he did. I think he came from money though.
Did he? Okay. Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like,
healthy.
I've never asked that question. How does this dude acquire $300 billion? He's the richest man on the planet.
Like I said, he's very
300 billion, 300 trillion. What is he worth? 3 trillion?
I think Trump even pointed it out how he's so good at using government funds and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't even know what his wealth is. Is it 300 trillion?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't. But this whole thing. I'm telling you right now. Mark my words. It's gonna be iRobot. We're having a sequel to iRobot or the Terminator
or something.
Arnold's gonna
It's
be
gonna
like
be really dumb. It's gonna be something so stupid and so
Arnold
lame.
Schwarzenegger is gonna come on Twitter once he sees this video, and he's gonna say, "Come with me if you want to leave. Get to
But
the
he's the one that
chopper if
says,
you want to leave."
but he's the one that says, "Screw your freedoms."
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
We're gonna have the
he
actors
might be.
from
He might be.
Terminator come out and
He might
tell
be
us.
pro robots.
Maybe, but we may
Terminator will become the Terminator again.
probably. But I feel like we'll have the cast of Terminator telling us, y'all had a movie about this. You better watch it."
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the future.
Burn it with fire.
Agreed. Let's see here. Captain Keely had said earlier, live action remakes are the most creatively bankrupt you can make. 100%. And then this is where we got into the unveiling of that. Dan Blackroyd said, "Enjoy nature. Return to the bush of Hammond." We're gonna get to that next. Stargate next, folks. Stargate next. Brandon Trent says, worst thing that could happen is if Elon's robots would decide to switch to destroy humanity like AI robot program villain Ultron from Avengers Age of Ultron. I mean, it would have to be something cooked into the programming. So it would mean old Elon put it there. That's kind of like what was alluded to if you played Detroit Become Human. It kind of gets alluded to that the whole quote unquote like awakening thing, that their whole like programming that switches them to act to quote unquote act like humans, act like they've awakened from this, from their programming, was potentially like released by the original creator who was ousted from his company. So, it'd have to be from something like that. Until I see it to believe it, I do not foresee the whole sentient AI crap. Brandon Trent says, Elon's design of Cybertruck did look ridiculous when it first came out. It looks so dumb. Oh my God, it looked worse than the car. I've seen now, I think I've seen the car and the truck out in the wild. I think they both look ridiculous. Ernie Neo says, it still looks ridiculous. It does. Dan Blackbird said, that just a Elon in a mask. He's spying on your home. Oh no. Brandon Trent said, is Elon Musk trying to make C-3PO real? He kind of jokingly, mentioned it's like R2-D2 and C-3PO. I mean, making the real versions. Ernie Neo says, if a robot identifies as human, will the nut jobs go along with it? Yes, they will. You know the answer to that. You knew the answer to that. Nerdy Neo says, Elon said they'll cost 20 to 30K. Not all that expensive. What? You maybe? That sounds like bro, that sounds pretty expensive to me. I'm still paying off my damn mortgage. Would be like a second car payment, I guess. Try to save up for a second car. Nerdiness says, a fighter pilot. Did you see Stealth? No, I've not seen Stealth. Brandon Trent says, in the day and age we live, society has gone through a lot of changes with technology, like Uber Eats has replaced ordering food from a person, and people operate drones to take pictures instead of cameras. I mean, so there are certain things that I do see more as tools. Uber Eats, though, like I see is like a kind of side effect of a certain, so at least certainly the blow up of Uber Eats, like with during COVID and everything. But I mean, people still can still order directly from restaurants. Now it is just more mercenary work, though. Yeah. Like the companies that can just easily put themselves on Uber Eats, and that's how they deal with delivery, is allowing those people to come and do it for them instead of them potentially wage slaving somebody out to go and do it. And says, and people operate. Oh yeah, drones again. I see more as like kind of another video camera tool. at this point. A little different, but I see your point. And yes, that was it. Nerdy Neo says Halo Studios. Yes. So yeah, we'll touch on that next week. Oh, that's right. Elon Musk co-founded PayPal. Thanks, Nerdy Neo. He got that one. It says there are no trillionaires yet. Yeah, Black Red. I prefer Short Circuit. Dang it. I was thinking about that. Yeah, Short Circuit. But we are. I don't think we're going to get a Johnny Five is alive. We're not going to get Johnny Five. Brandon Trent says humanity should be more concerned of endangered species like pandas, whales, sea turtles, American bison, and African rhinos. In certain indigenous life, yes, I think there's because there is an ecosystem that needs to be upheld for balance and everything. I think a lot of it does come down to partly, humans just need to kind of stay away from certain things. We need to stop interfering with certain aspects of the natural world too. We interfere a lot. Like there's a reason why, I guess not always a reason, but there's usually a reason like why some animals will beach themselves because they're sick, they're dying. And I get it. You want to be a good Samaritan or whatever the hell you want to call it. And you want to save that. But sometimes certain things are unfortunately meant to die. And like I said, with animals especially, they follow much more closer to the natural world, natural order, and in the ecosystem more than we do. And in fact, yeah, like we could do to, and this is what I love about, in particular, the leftists out there is how they want to cry about the environment and all of that, and save the animals. On that one foot, they'll say save the animals, and yet they are the biggest pushers to import millions upon millions of people into this country, and will just as flippantly say, oh, well, we have plenty of room, without taking into account that you then have to, terraform land and make it viable for plumbing, for housing and stuff like that. I'd have to ask these people, have you actually watched what goes into a development of one of those kind of like cul-de-sac kind of housing subdivisions and stuff? Have you watched that? And have you not realized how the unfortunate way that you see it is, have you not noticed the increase of wildlife roadkill? There's a reason that's happening. They are being forced out of their natural environments because you progressive leftist whack jobs have to keep expanding because that's how you thrive. That's how you keep, you keep your bullshit going. That's this whole progressive nonsense there's no stopping point when you need to just take a step back and let things progress naturally. And through natural progression, houses will be freed up, people can move in and stuff like that. That is sort of some of the things that can happen. But when you are forcibly building on newer and newer and newer land, you are forcing more and more animals out of their natural habitats and forced to find new territory, find new places to hunt, to survive, and stuff like that. And unfortunately for some, they find their ways more into cities, and they don't meet a very pleasant fate. So I find these people really hilarious how they'll go on about this and yet not take into some very simple considerations of what goes into a lot of this. So enough of me going off of that. Meteor Advocate Timon says species have been extinct since before humans were on it. True. Animals come and go as it is part, and that's why I said some things are just meant to die. Animals live their life cycles, and they come, they go, they live, they die. It happens. It's all part of it. And sometimes we see new iterations. Sometimes we see evolution. Sometimes they just disappear. They go away. Nerdy Neo says they want to save the animals, but are okay with abortion. I know, right? That's the other fun part of it, isn't it? So concerned about the animals, and yet the life that human beings bring into the world, not so much. Those are just a clump of cells. Brandon Trent says Greta Thunberg is the biggest environmentalist complaining about global warming, but not too many are interested or want to listen to her. No, she's a true blue goblin weirdo. And the less I ever see of her, the better. All right. Now, folks, as you know, we are finally getting back to this. And if you want to watch along with us, you absolutely can. Over here on Kick, Odyssey, and Rumble. If you aren't, you can head on over there too. We'll be watching Stargate SG-1. But I do want to say thank you to everybody that's been here hanging out with us for this portion. We did the dive on Sweet Baby Inc. and everything. And we also got into a couple of other topics. Who would have thought? I thought it was going to be nothing but Sweet Baby, but we got into other things too, which I'm grateful for. So yeah, Brandon Tran, Nerdy Neo, Meteor Advocate Timon, Dan Blackroyd, aka Liquid Blake. I know we had Melissa Lord in here earlier, forking around, going through. Crimson Raptor, hadn't seen for a good spell, but thank you all for hanging out with us. I hope you'll join us for the Stargate watch. This is Spirits, silly Native American aliens. Okay, what's the question there, Brandon? Shoot, fire away, sir. Will you guys cover Rocksteady wants to make another Batman game? We'll cover. How about we'll cover that? That'll be part of next week as well. So we got Halo and Rocksteady. That'll be part of it. So yeah, thanks for reminding me. In fact, I know I had heard about that, and that'll be certainly something to talk about for sure. And then Blackroyd, as we finish up here, human overreach leading to extinction is too common. Impacting the natural order for the sake of pipelines or roads can be disastrous. Same with oceans. The less interference we have, the better. Agreed. All right, guys. Again, I hope you all join us for Stargate Watch. Join us over on those other two channels that I linked. And yeah, we will thank you all so much. I hope you smash the like button and everything. And if you can, after the stream or whatever, drop a comment. It really helps get the stream out into the algo and all that jazz. And so with that, we will say goodbye and toodles as we jump over to watch Stargate. So we'll catch you on the other side.